Chapter 260. If the disciples who enter this place go out, they might leak the secrets of this place. Shaoling Yu replied, all the disciples of the East Pole Devil sect who go out will not go out and speak carelessly. When they go out, they will swear on their souls that if they leak anything about this place, their souls will scatter. The old man shook his head and said, but we can't rule out the possibility that someone will leak the information here at the cost of their own lives. Shaoling Yu added, facts have proven that everyone cherishes their lives very much. Moreover, the disciples who are sent and will be carefully investigated before they are sent in. If they aren't absolutely reliable, they won't be sent in. Generally, those who are sent in are those who have been in the East Pole Devil sect since they ascended to the Devil world. They came from the lower realms, so even if they have relatives or friends in the Devil world, they might not necessarily be on the Blood Moon continent. There's no benefit for them to leak this secret. The old man said confidently, that's true. Shaoling Yu nodded and said, the reason why he was qualified to enter was probably because he had just ascended. I'm very curious. Since you had just entered my East Pole Devil sect and have such a high cultivation, why did they send you down? Why do they trust you so much? It's reasonable to say that true Devil stage cultivators can't come down. The old man asked doubtfully, maybe it's because I have just ascended. Shaoling Yu quickly thought in his heart and said, if he didn't explain, he was worried that this old man would be suspicious and might leave him here forever. After cultivating for so many years, Shaoling Yu had experienced many things and met many powerhouses. He was well aware that if some of the demonic paths experts had any suspicions about someone, they might directly kill them. Did you just ascend? The old man asked in surprise. Yes. Shaoling Yu nodded and replied, even if you ascended after going through the 9 tribulations, your cultivation should only be at the peak of the late Devil King stage. Even if you advance to the early True Devil stage, how could you have an aura not weaker than the late True Devil stage? How could you defeat the late True Devil stage demonic beast and come here? The old man stared at Shaoling Yu in disbelief. Kid, you're just lucky. You almost lost your life in the previous battle. Shaoling Yu forced himself to remain calm. Haha, don't try to fool me. No matter how lucky an early true demon cultivator is, he can't beat a late true demon beast. The old man smiled and said, since they sent you in, they must believe in you. However, with your cultivation, it will be very difficult for you to improve further. Why don't you stay and accompany this old man to open more treasure boxes to seek opportunities? I just ascended not long ago, and I want to know more about the Devil world outside. Shaoling Yu replied, non-committally. If you want to go out, I won't stop you, but you probably won't be able to make it in time. The old man's expression didn't change. There should still be 3 months before the 10-year deadline. Will we be able to make it in time? Shaoling Yu frowned. Even if you leave now, it will take at least half a year to reach the place. The old man said with a smile, as if he was gloating. Senior, please teach me how to get out. Shaoling Yu was anxious. He cupped his fists and begged. Don't worry, just wait. The old man pointed at the stone table and said leisurely. Shaoling Yu was surprised to find that there was a crack in the middle of the stone table. The stone table had been split into 2, and the crack in the middle was slowly expanding. After waiting for 4 hours, the crack expanded to a width that allowed a person to pass through, and a pitch-black hole appeared. From this hole, if you walk at full speed, you can reach the abyss in half a year if there are no powerful demon beasts blocking you. The old man pointed at the hole and said, what's the strongest demon beast in there? Shaoling Yu asked. There are some places that are very vast, and there are many demon beasts with different strength. Generally speaking, the stronger you are, the stronger the demon beasts you will encounter. If you have the strength of true demon late stage, it is very likely that you will encounter a spirit demon stage demon beast. The old man replied seriously. Thank you, Senior, for your guidance. Shaoling Yu responded and fell into the darkness of the hole. Even if he had to fight a spirit demon stage demon beast, he didn't want to continue to stay here. This place is too strange. Shaoling Yu doesn't know if he can hold on until the next opening day of the East Extreme Devil Cave, and if he can't make it back this time, who can guarantee that he can catch up the next time. Moreover, with a spirit demon stage expert, he can't guarantee that many of his secrets won't be discovered, and he can't believe that this old man won't do it. So in any case, he needs to try, and he doesn't rule out that the old man deliberately intimidated him in order to keep him. What makes Xiao depressed is that the darkness is the same as the darkness when he first entered the East Extreme Devil Cave. It will limit any light source. Even Xiao primal chaos true fire can't reflect the slightest light here. Soul force can come out of the body to form a consciousness, which can help Xiao to identify the direction and alert the surroundings. Under the exploration of his consciousness, Xiao moved forward at full speed, but as the Supreme Elder said, this road is very long, and it is also very winding, and it will never end. After walking for 10 days, Xiao found the aura of a demon beast in front of him, but now the road is not wide, and he can't go around it. Continuing to move forward, he felt that the demon beast was only at the heavenly demon middle stage, so he continued to run, and when he was close to the location of the demon beast, the wings of speed appeared behind him. A silver light flashed and disappeared. Although the magical beast raised its head to take a look, it did not see anything and crawled back down. In this way, 2 months later, Xiao was still running in this dark devil cave, but finally, he reached an open place. How open this place is, Xiao doesn't know, because his consciousness can't completely cover it. It is precisely because this place is too big that he can't determine which direction is the real way out, so he must open his consciousness to the maximum to help him find the way. But Xiao also knows that it is extremely easy to attract the attention of a spirit demon stage demon beast, because the spirit demon stage demon beast is much higher than him, and it is easy for them to perceive the fluctuations of his consciousness. Time waits for no man. Xiao has no time to be careful. He can only take risks to find a way out. Occasionally, when he feels the aura of a powerful demon beast, Xiao will choose to take a detour, but most of the demon beasts will attack him. Xiao can directly rely on his speed to avoid the demon beasts of the early or middle stage true demon stage. But if he encounters a demon beast of the late stage true demon stage, Xiao will most likely have to stop and fight before he can escape under the condition of seriously injuring or killing the opponent. It took a full 5 days. Xiao experienced dozens of big and small battles, and finally found a way out. Although there were several dangerous encounters, bloody battles, and injuries, but fortunately he didn't encounter any demon beasts of the spirit demon stage. Looking at the tunnel-like devil cave, Xiao took a long breath and plunged into it. What made Xiao vomit blood was that in less than 100 breaths of time, there was a violent and powerful aura in front of him. Just by the impact of this aura, Xiao found it difficult to stabilize his body. One can imagine what level of demon beast he is about to face. Xiao originally wanted to retreat, but he has been detected and locked on by the demon beast. If he retreated to an open place to fight, it should be more disadvantageous for him, so he decided to stay in this narrow tunnel. After all, Xiao is not familiar with the darkness, and the demon beast lives here all year round. The darkness has no effect on it all. As for Xiao speed, even with the blessing of the wings, he can only compete with a late-stage, true demon stage cultivator. It is simply not comparable to the existence of the spirit demon stage. The silver moon blade has already appeared in Xiao hand, and the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs are also waiting in his dantian. When the demon beast of the spirit demon stage approached, Xiao stretched out one of his arms, and a burst of poisonous demon flame spewed out. Perhaps it had sensed Xiao powerful aura, or it was afraid of the poisonous fog, or perhaps it felt that it couldn't use its full power here. But the demonic beast that was at least at the early stage of the spirit demon realm suddenly stopped when it was about to approach Xiao, and then slowly retreated. Xiao slightly frowned, but still resolutely moved forward 10 feet, and the demon beast also retreated 10 feet at the same time. Xiao continued to move forward, but it still retreated. Although the demon beast kept retreating, it didn't hide far away, and its posture was just to block Xiao Lingyu's path. Xiao Lingyu naturally didn't want to waste time like this, and the two sides confronted each other for a while. Then Xiao Lingyu began to speed up. At first, the demon beast was still retreating at the same speed, but after an hour, it suddenly stopped and rushed toward Xiao Lingyu, as if it has nowhere to retreat. In order to rush back in time, Xiao Lingyu naturally can't retreat, and can only brace himself and face the demon beast with the silver moonblade. However, at the next moment, Xiao Lingyu's consciousness discovered that a tail had already reached his chest. Bang! The tail didn't give Xiao Lingyu any time to prepare, and it swept fiercely on his primal chaos light shield. And although the power of the tail has weakened a lot, it still firmly hit Xiao Lingyu's chest. Puff! Even though Xiao Lingyu's body quality is close to that of a top-grade demon weapon. But after being hit like this, his blood and chi surged, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. With such a powerful attack, why did you keep retreating just now? After Xiao Lingyu steadied himself, he couldn't help but criticize in his heart, and at the same time, he took this more seriously. The demon beast seemed to have gained some confidence from this attack, and it whipped out another tail. What made Xiao Lingyu even more surprised was that after a few moments, the tail actually turned into 9, and every single one of them was exactly the same. Chapter 261. The 9 tails were like 9 godly whips, whizzing toward Qin Nan with countless afterimages. Xiao Lingyu didn't dare to hold back anymore. 6 true devil immortal orbs flew out at the same time, circling around his head at an extremely fast speed, and instantly projected a sacred light curtain. Boom! Boom! The sound of explosions kept coming out. Even the supreme grade immortal treasure's defensive barrier couldn't withstand it, and when the 4th tail swept over, the sacred light curtain collapsed. Xiao Lingyu shouted softly, and fiercely slashed out with the silver moon broken blade. The 5th tail was directly cut off under the sharpness of the silver moon broken blade, and blood splattered on Xiao Lingyu's face. But the next 4 tails swept Xiao Lingyu's body again, and Xiao Lingyu's body was swept away again, and the crisp sound of bones cracking continuously came out, making his whole body unbearably painful, and he felt that the bones in his body were about to fall apart. Xiao Lingyu experienced the power of the spirit demon stage firsthand this time, and the opponent's attack could easily injure him. There was almost no suspense in this battle. Xiao Lingyu hurriedly retreated, and at the same time, he fed himself a few healing pills. Fortunately, the demon beast didn't chase after him, and it seemed that it didn't want to let Xiao Lingyu continue to move forward, and it didn't intend to fight Xiao Lingyu to the death. However, even if Xiao Lingyu can't beat it, it's not like he can't fight back. At least, the silver moon broken blade just now hurt the other party, and because of this, the other party may not dare to pursue him. At this time, Xiao Lingyu was in a dilemma. If he continues to move forward, there will be a spirit demon stage demon beast blocking him, and if he retreats, there's a possibility that he will encounter a spirit demon stage demon beast again, and he will definitely lose the opportunity to go back. Anyway, it's not a smooth road. Xiao Lingyu felt that it's better to continue moving forward according to the plan, no matter what. He can't be left in the East Extreme Devil Cave. Making up his mind, Xiao Lingyu didn't wait for his injuries to recover and rushed forward again. The torrential poisonous flames surged like a tide, and the 6 demons suppressing immortal orbs opened the way side by side. Holding the silver moon broken blade and flapping his wings, Xiao Lingyu quickly arrived at the place where the spirit demon stage demon beast was entrenched. As soon as he arrived, several tails swept across the air, and the poisonous flames seemed to have no effect on them. And the 6 demons suppressing immortal orbs were also swept away by the tails at the same time. 2 tails, and arrived in front of Xiao Lingyu. The opponent's attack speed was still as fast as before, not giving Xiao Lingyu any time to react. Xiao Lingyu had no choice but to swing his silver moon broken blade at one of the tails. The tail, blood like an arrow, and blood like an arrow is like an arrow. By Xiao Lingyu, T.S. Xiao Lingyu is the Xiao Zhao's. T.T.'s Lingyu T-Test Blood's body to the end, Xiao Yu's body to this time. Xiao Yu was once again repelled by the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs, and his injuries were even more serious. If it weren't for Xiao Yu's high physical quality, he wouldn't have been able to face the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs twice, and he would have been obliterated in the first encounter. His injuries are too serious. Xiao Yu estimated that he can attack 2 more times at most, and if he can't defeat the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs, he will die here. His physical quality is high, so his recovery is very slow, and he doesn't have much time left. If he can't meet up with the others in half an hour, he can only stay in this devil's cave. Making up his mind, Xiao Yu took a moment to adjust his breath, and then he rushed over again. Once again, the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs opened the way. Xiao Yu was wrapped in torrential devil flames, holding the Silver Moon broken immortal sword, and his fingers were constantly forming seals. When the Silver Moon broken immortal sword swept over with 7 tails, the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs blocked one of the tails, but the last one was still cut off by the Silver Moon broken immortal sword. This time, Xiao Yu wasn't repelled in the first exchange, but after the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs, the Silver Moon broken immortal sword's 6 tails rushed over together. Xiao Yu roared, and the chaotic devil seal, infused with an intermediate devil curse, whizzed out and exploded in the middle of the Silver Moon broken immortal orb's 6 tails. Roar! After the chaotic devil seal exploded, Xiao Yu heard the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs roar in pain from the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs. Xiao Yu didn't dare to stop, and once again activated the chaotic devil seal, continuously bombarding the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs. The Silver Moon broken immortal orbs continued, and only after Xiao Yu bombarded it 5 times did the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs truly come close. Only then did Xiao Yu see the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs appearance. It was a fox-like Silver Moon broken immortal orbs, but the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs was at least 10 times bigger than an ordinary fox, and its body was covered in pure black fur, but it had a pair of bright, ruby-like eyes and several tails that were still emitting smoke behind it. 9-tailed fox. Xiao Yu was shocked because the 9-tailed fox was supposed to be an immortal beast with a bloodline that was infinitely close to that of a divine beast. How could it appear in the demon realm and become a Silver Moon broken immortal orbs? If this 9-tailed fox was mutated, then it was a mutated immortal beast, and its bloodline should be no less than that of a divine beast. No wonder it had such powerful strength. If Xiao Yu didn't have the incomparably sharp divine weapon, the 6 demon immortal orbs, and the quality of his body that was close to that of a supreme grade immortal artifact, he would have already lost his life to the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs. At this time, the 9 tails of the Silver Moon broken immortal orbs were severely damaged, which would certainly greatly weaken its own strength. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come to face Xiao Yu in person. What made Xiao Yu a little puzzled is that the strength of the mutated 9-tailed fox should be more than this. After all, it has the cultivation of Spirit Demon stage, and it should be able to easily defeat him. Just as Xiao Yu was pondering, the 9-tailed magic fox's body swayed. 8 of its 9 heavily injured tails were separated from its body. The 8 tails also turned into a solid Silver Moon broken immortal orbs in an instant. What's even more shocking is that the 8 Silver Moon broken immortal orbs have the aura of Spirit Demon stage. Innate divine ability? Xiao Yu was shocked and suddenly remembered the ancient book's description of 9-tailed immortal foxes' innate divine ability. Originally, there was only 1 Silver Moon broken immortal orbs, and Xiao Yu was seriously injured, and he used all his strength to force it to appear. Now that the other party has activated its innate divine ability, Xiao Yu's intuition is getting worse and worse. However, Xiao Yu also knows that as long as he can withstand the other party's innate divine ability, the other party can only be slaughtered by him. So, he let the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs hover around his body and put on a defensive posture, waiting for the other party to attack. Xiao Yu is very clear in his heart that with his current ability and state, and under the premise of the other party activating its innate divine ability, there is no hope of winning. But what he never thought was that, whether it was because of the injury or because of other reasons, as soon as the other party activated its innate divine ability, the bodies of the 8 silver moon broken immortal orbs began to tremble. After a few moments, the 8 silver moon broken immortal orbs turned back into 8 tails and returned to the back of the silver moon broken immortal orbs. Although the innate divine ability was not successfully activated, the silver moon broken immortal orbs still became extremely weak at this time. Its cultivation has been completely exhausted when it activated its innate divine ability. Not only is its body very weak, the silver moon broken immortal orbs can't even stand stably at this time, and it looks like it is about to fall. In the end, it couldn't hold on, and its small body fell to the ground, panting. Looking at the silver moon broken immortal orbs, it looks like it has exhausted all the energy of its life and is waiting for death. What made Shaolin Yu feel a little sad was that the silver moon broken immortal orbs had tears dripping down from the corners of the silver moon broken immortal orbs, like a sad woman. In this situation, Shaolin Yu really can't do anything to the silver moon broken immortal orbs, and his heart was a little sad. The silver moon broken immortal orbs crawled in place for a while, and as if it has recovered some of its strength, it turned around and slowly crawled away. Shaolin Yu followed behind, and after about a cup of tea's time, they came to a small cave. In this cave, there was actually a little magic fox sleeping soundly. Although the fox is small, it has already grown 6 tails, and its aura is not weaker than that of a late-stage demon king. Shaolin Yu is also an experienced person, and he has been taking care of young beasts in the Imperial Beast Hall for many years. You can see that this little fox should have been born not long ago. This can also explain why the silver moon broken immortal orbs tried to stop Shaolin Yu from coming over, and why it is so weak. If not for the fact that it was just born, the silver moon broken immortal orbs could definitely kill Shaolin Yu easily, and it definitely wouldn't have failed to activate its special ability. Shaolin Yu knows that he passed by luck today, but it is difficult for him to feel the slightest bit of joy and relief. He is not a cold-blooded person, and when he saw the silver moon broken immortal orbs crying beside its child, the corners of his eyes also turned sour. However, Shaolin Yu is also not a weak-hearted person. If he wants to move forward, as long as there is someone in front of him, he can only choose to fight. But to Shaolin Yu's surprise, this is the end of the demon's den, and there is no way out. Did I go the wrong way? This suspicion arose in Shaolin Yu's heart. After a few minutes, he prepared to leave and return to the open dark area to find a way out. Before leaving, Shaolin Yu threw a healing elixir to the silver moon broken immortal orbs, perhaps to make up for the little bit of guilt in his heart. Squeak, squeak. After throwing the elixir, Shaolin Yu had just turned around when he heard the silver moon broken immortal orbs call out to him. He turned around again. The silver moon broken immortal orbs did not consume the elixir. Instead, it used its 2 front paws to pick up its child and slowly brought it in front of Shaolin Yu. You mean, you want me to take it away? Shaolin Yu asked in surprise. The silver moon broken immortal orbs nodded silently with tears in its eyes. Shaolin Yu can clearly feel that the silver moon broken immortal orbs on the silver moon broken immortal orbs are getting weaker and weaker. It is likely that it will not be long before it dies, and the elixir he gave it will not be able to save it. All right, Shaolin Yu stretched out his arms and took the little fox. I will definitely take good care of it. This is a promise to a mother, and Shaolin Yu believes that he will be able to keep it. Chapter 262. The seemingly solid stone wall, which did not seem to have anything strange about it, actually slowly disappeared under the 9-tailed magic fox's front claws. A similarly pitch-black passageway appeared. Shaolin Yu hadn't taken the wrong path. It was just that the path ahead had been hidden. He could also guess that the reason why the 9-tailed magic fox didn't continue to attack at the moment of death, and even helped him open the path ahead, was probably because it was afraid that he would be ruthless enough to kill its child. Just as the stone wall completely disappeared, the nine-tailed magic fox's body collapsed to the ground, its life completely cut off. As if it felt the disappearance of its loved one, the originally sleeping little fox suddenly opened its eyes. Although it stared at its dead mother in a daze, it also shed tears and softly sobbed. What an intelligent little fellow! Xiaoling Yu sighed and praised. Then, he carried the little fox and continued on his way. After that, he didn't encounter any more powerful demonic beasts. Xiaoling Yu used 8 days to finally fly out of the demon's den and into the darkness of the abyss. After flying for a few breaths of time, Xiaoling Yu saw the figures of a few cultivators and approached them. At the entrance of the tunnel, elderly of the East Pole Demon Sect Hall of Fame stood quietly with 3 other disciples. When they saw Xiaoling Yu fly over, they were all a little surprised. Xiaoling Yu had already comforted the little fox and sent it into the spirit beast pouch. Xiaoling Yu flew over alone and said with a seemingly relaxed smile, "Not bad, not bad. Haha, your timing is quite accurate. Tomorrow is the day we leave, and you only managed to rush back today." The old man, surnamed Li, replied with a smile. "It seems that there are people who came back later than me," Xiaoling Yu said unhappily. Arriving in time made him feel much more relaxed. He had been very nervous and apprehensive along the way. "Those that came later than you will likely never return," Feng Yu, who was standing to the side, said with a sneer. Xiaoling Yu looked at Feng Yu and was a little surprised. Feng Yu was actually at the early stage of the Devil King realm. When Feng Yu entered, he was only at the mid-stage of the Sky Fiend realm. For him to improve so much in just 10 years, he must have encountered a great opportunity. However, even if he was an early-stage Demon King, the difference between him and Xiaoling Yu was still too great. Naturally, he would not bother with this despicable person. His other 2 fellow disciples were at the peak of late-stage Heavenly Demon Realm and late-stage Earth Demon Realm respectively when they entered, but now both of them had broken through to early-stage Demon King and early-stage Heavenly Demon Realm respectively. Although their progress was not as great as Feng Yu's, it was still a cause for celebration. "Why do I feel like you're worse than before?" Old Man Li asked, puzzled. Xiaoling Yu did not obtain any great opportunities this time, and her injuries had not recovered yet. Naturally, she was in a much worse state than before. "Haha, my luck is a bit bad," Xiaoling Yu laughed perfunctorily. It was impossible for her to say that she had not gained anything. At the very least, her hypertoxic body had improved by leaps and bounds. Her refining skills had also improved by quite a bit. She had even adopted a demon fox that would grow into a divine beast in the future. "Did you encounter anything strange?" Old Man Li asked, as if he was implying something. Xiaoling Yu knew what Old Man Li was referring to, but she shook her head and said, "Aside from a few battles with a few magical beasts, I didn't encounter anything strange." Hearing this, Old Man Li frowned slightly. His lips had already moved, but he swallowed the words that were at the tip of his tongue. After waiting for another day, no one returned. Old Man Li said to everyone, "Let's go. It's time to go back." Ha! The candle was lit again, and a ball of fire illuminated the palm-sized area. Along the way, they encountered many demonic beasts that came to harass them. However, under the threat of the flame from the candle, those demonic beasts very sensibly retreated far away. Soon, they arrived at their destination. However, the sky above them was still pitch black, and there was no light. The Eastern Demon Sect's true demons had yet to open the entrance. According to the sect's rules, before you go up, you must swear on your souls that you will not reveal anything about the Eastern Demon Cave. Old Man Li raised the candle and said solemnly. Xiaoling Yu felt that this rule was reasonable, so he did not contradict it. After Feng Yu and the other 2 finished swearing, he opened his mouth and prepared to swear as well. However, Old Man Li spoke first. "You don't have to swear." The 4 people, including Xiaoling Yu, all frowned slightly. Feng Yu bluntly asked, "Senior Brother Li, the 3 of us have already finished swearing. Why doesn't he need to swear?" Old Man Li's tone was light as he said, "I don't need to explain it to you." "You." Feng Yu's face darkened as he said, I will explain this matter to the sect master. Ha, did you forget? You just swore that you will not reveal anything you saw or heard in the Eastern Demon Cave. Otherwise, your soul will scatter. Right now, we are still inside the Eastern Demon Cave. Old Man Li reminded with a smile. Fang Yu first narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself, then said righteously, Senior Brother Li, your actions can be said to be disgraceful. Please reconsider. If you persist in going about things the wrong way, we can only clean up the sect for you. Old Man Li did not let Shaolin Yu swear because he wanted to obtain information about the Eastern Demon Cave from Shaolin Yu, or give Shaolin Yu a chance to leak secrets. Even Shaolin Yu could think of this point. Fang Yu and the other two were not stupid, so naturally they could also think of it. Haha, are you going to attack me? Old Man Li asked fearlessly. I'm only advising Senior Brother Li to calm down. Don't do anything that will harm the sect and yourself, Fang Yu said in a low voice. This matter originally had little to do with Fang Yu, but if others didn't swear an oath, he might be able to tolerate it. But to let a fellow sect member he hated receive special treatment made him feel very unbalanced. Of course, this was also because Fang Yu didn't know Shaolin Yu's level. Otherwise, he would probably think twice before speaking. I'm already very calm. I'm just afraid that you won't be calm. If I kill you here, you'll only die for nothing. Old Man Li's smile suddenly vanished. Although his aura was still at the peak of the late-stage Sky Fiend realm, the candle in his hand began to flicker. Fang Yu had originally thought that since his cultivation level was higher than Old Man Li's, if he could convince the other two, he would definitely be able to capture Old Man Li. But when he saw the candle in Old Man Li's hand, he knew he was wrong. Everyone had seen the power of the flame snake from the candle. It wasn't something a Demon King realm cultivator could block. Fang Yu's expression changed again. After a light snort, he didn't say anything else. He comforted himself in his heart. It didn't have anything to do with him, so why should he worry about it? Although not swearing an oath was less of a restriction, Shaolin Yu felt that there would be trouble in the future. Just as Shaolin Yu was weighing the pros and cons, a ray of light shone down from above. The darkness above slowly parted, and a crack with light expanded. After an hour, the light turned into an exit. All of you leave, Old Man Li said, and took the lead. A moment later, he disappeared from the exit. Shaolin Yu and the others didn't delay. They all flew up and stood still in the side hall. The Devil Sect's true demon experts stopped casting and sealed the entrance to the East Extreme Devil Cave with a stone slab. The Devil Sect leader first looked at Fang Yu and the others with a satisfied expression. But when he looked at Shaolin Yu, his brows suddenly furrowed. All of you go back and rest. Then work hard in cultivating. Try to digest all the benefits you've gained from entering the East Extreme Devil Cave in the shortest amount of time. The future of the East Extreme Devil Sect depends on you. After the Devil Sect leader finished speaking, he waved his sleeves at everyone. Then, he and the other true demon experts sat down cross-legged to meditate. It seemed that moving the stone slab had taken a lot out of them. Since the sect leader had spoken, everyone naturally wouldn't stay in the side hall. Under Old Man Li's lead, they first left the side hall, then left the East Extreme Devil Palace. After leaving the small island in the center of the lake, everyone went their separate ways. Shaolin Yu was about to return to the Imperial Beast Hall, but was stopped by Old Man Li. How about taking a walk with me? Old Man Li seemed to be very sincere in his invitation. I think I should return to the Imperial Beast Hall to take a look. After all, I've been away for quite some time. Shaolin Yu replied with a smile. Shaolin Yu wasn't an ignorant person. He knew that in this kind of situation, whoever took the initiative would be at a disadvantage. No matter what the situation was, he should take the initiative. It wasn't that just because you wanted to talk to me, I had to accompany you. Shaolin Yu thought so. Old Man Li thought for a moment, then nodded. In a few days, I'll go to the Imperial Beast Hall to look for you. Old Man Li didn't know what Shaolin Yu was thinking. He only thought that Shaolin Yu was injured and was in a hurry to go back to recover. The Imperial Beast Hall looked very peaceful. Meow Yin was in charge of feeding all the young beasts. Hao Run and Wang Tai, who had nothing to do, were both in seclusion. Whether it was the young beasts or the adult beasts, none of them rebelled. However, just as Xiaoling Yu returned to the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall, he was invited by Old Manly. I heard that you entered the Eastern Devil Cave. How was it? Did you get anything? Old Manly asked, seemingly concerned. You can't talk about that. Xiaoling Yu said calmly. Oh right, the sect has rules. I shouldn't ask about this. Old Manly slapped his head, then said, You have a good relationship with Wang Tai and Hao Run, right? They're good people. Xiaoling Yu's meaning was obvious. They're probably going to leave the Imperial Beast Hall soon. Old Manly stared at Xiaoling Yu. Oh, why? Xiaoling Yu frowned. There's a true demon expert in the sect who wants to take them as disciples. Old Manly replied. A true demon expert taking them as disciples is a good thing. Xiaoling Yu didn't care. But I can't bear to see them walk into a fire pit. Old Manly shook his head. Chapter 263. I don't know if you have heard of Devil Fetus? The hunchbacked old man asked instead of answering. Devil Fetus? Is it possible that the master of true demon stage accepted them as disciples because he wanted to plant Devil Fetus in them? Xiaoling Yu frowned and asked, I'm not sure about this, but among the disciples he accepted before, there were indeed 3 who were planted with Devil Fetus, and those 3 were all extraordinary people. The hunchbacked old man said with uncertainty, Doesn't the sect have any restrictions on this matter? Xiaoling Yu asked with a gloomy expression. Oh, we're just a third-rate sect. Sometimes, many rules are only used to restrict ordinary disciples. The restrictions on the masters of true demon stage are not big. Moreover, cultivating Devil Fetus is also a shortcut to the spirit demon stage. Most of the masters of true demon stage, including the sect master, have cultivated a lot of Devil Fetus in order to speed up the promotion to spirit demon stage. The hunchbacked old man explained with a wry smile. If this continues, the outstanding disciples will be planted with Devil Fetus. Sooner or later, there will be a gap in the various realms of the sect. This is not conducive to the long-term development of the sect, right? Xiaoling Yu seemed a little difficult to understand. It's still the same reason. We're just a third-rate sect. If we rely on slowly cultivating outstanding disciples to develop and grow, it will be extremely slow. Maybe before we grow stronger, we will be destroyed by other sections. Whether a sect is strong or not, what it needs is not countless low-level disciples, but the number of strong people. A spirit demon stage master can only make us a third-rate sect, and the weakest existence in the third-rate sect. If we have more spirit demon stage masters, we can not only develop rapidly in the third-rate sect, but also have a greater chance to become a second-rate sect. It may be difficult for one spirit demon to be promoted to profound demon stage, but if there are several, then the probability of having a profound demon stage master in the future will increase a lot. When the hunchbacked old man said this, he thought for a moment, and then said, Only those large sects that do not lack cultivation resources will continue to cultivate elite disciples in the sect to develop themselves. For most third-rate or second-rate sects, the fastest way to develop is to find strong people to join or merge with other sections. For the hunchbacked old man's explanation, Xiaoling Yu can actually understand. After all, he controls the heavenly bandits, and if he expects Zhu Jin and others to slowly improve their strength to make the heavenly bandit stronger, it is not reliable at all. Moreover, cultivating Devil Fetus is also a relatively long process. True demon stage sect can recruit as long as it is a sect that can be ranked, it is very easy for them to recruit disciples. The hunchbacked old man added. Xiaoling Yu nodded and asked, Is there any way to solve the problem of Wang Tai and Hao Run? If Devil King stage cultivators want to take them as disciples, I can stop them, but true demon stage cultivators have an extraordinary status in our Eastern demon sect. Even the sect master will give them face. I can only delay for a while, but I can't change the result. The hunchbacked old man shook his head and said, Let's delay this matter for a while. I have to rest for a while. After Xiaoling Yu said a few words, he He left and returned to the secret room in his house to begin his retreat. Xiaoling Yu didn't need to worry too much about a true demon stage cultivator. Now that he could no longer hide his true realm, he didn't mind being high profile. 2 months later, Xiaoling Yu, who had only recovered a little from his injuries, felt that someone had touched the restriction on the door of the secret room. He calmly opened the door of the secret room, only to see Wang Tai and Hao Run waiting at the door. Their expressions were a little gloomy. "Brother Xiao, we shouldn't have disturbed you, but it's okay. I will help you with your matter." Xiaoling Yu didn't wait for Wang Tai to finish speaking, and he smiled and said with a relaxed and confident face, "That senior is a true demon stage master. Is Brother Xiao going to ask Senior Lee of the Hall of Fame?" Haoran asked speculatively. "Why should I ask him?" Xiaoling Yu walked out of the secret room and sat down in the living room. The hunchbacked old man was also in Xiaoling Yu's living room. He explained, "Senior Brother Lee has been deliberately inviting you over. He must value you very much. If you ask him, you should be able to resolve this matter. Although Senior Brother Lee is at the peak of the late heavenly demon stage, his right to speak in the sect is no worse than a true demon stage master. No matter how big his face is, I won't ask him." Xiaoling Yu shook his head first, and then said, "If that true demon stage master comes to urge you again, let him come to me. This is not appropriate. What if he is angry?" The hunchbacked old man said a little worriedly, "If you believe me, do as I say," Xiaoling Yu said indifferently. Xiaoling Yu did not go into seclusion after that. He had been wandering in the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall. The injuries on his body could not be recovered in a short period of time, so he was not too anxious. 3 days passed in a flash. The true demon stage cultivator who wanted to accept Hao Run and Wang Tai, under the hunchbacked old man's call, found Xiaoling Yu. At this time, Xiaoling Yu was sitting in his living room drinking tea. After the true demon stage cultivator came, he did not need Xiaoling Yu to call and sat down directly. "Pa." The person slapped the table in Xiaoling Yu's living room and said angrily to the hunchbacked old man, "Your Imperial Beast Hall is too arrogant, right? This old man wants to accept 2 disciples here, and you have to refuse. Do you really think this old man's patience has no limit?" "Pa." Without waiting for the hunchbacked old man to reply, Xiaoling Yu also slapped the table, startling the person. "No matter how angry you are, please go home and slap your own table." Xiaoling Yu put down the teacup in his hand and said with a sneer. The person who had arrived seemed to have noticed Xiaoling Yu at this time. His face was originally full of anger, but now it had become somewhat sinister. The number of people in the Eastern Pole Devil sect who dared to slap the table with him could be counted with one hand. However, none of them were from the Imperial Beast Hall. "Don't stare. I know your eyes are bigger." Xiaoling Yu looked at the person without fear and said jokingly. The person was trembling with anger, but he still maintained some sense and did not directly attack, but first used his demon sense to detect Xiaoling Yu's cultivation. "True demon stage." The person who came was shocked and then said calmly, "It's really worth celebrating. I just came out of seclusion not long ago, and the sect actually has another true demon stage master, but this one looks very unfamiliar. You should have joined when this old man was in seclusion, right? True demon stage?" The hunchbacked old man was even more surprised and looked at Xiaoling Yu with a dumbfounded expression. "This one has indeed joined not long ago, and has been working in the Imperial Beast Hall and rarely goes out." Xiaoling Yu replied indifferently, "Haha, this old man was rude just now. Please forgive me." The person cupped his fists and smiled politely. "That's fine, but why were you so angry just now?" Xiaoling Yu asked, pretending to be confused. The person's expression changed again and again, and after thinking for a while, he said, "I just took a fancy to the 2 Earth Demon Stage disciples in the Imperial Beast Hall, and wanted to accept them as disciples and train them well, but I didn't expect them to always refuse, making this old man impatient." So that's how it is. Xiaoling Yu paused for a moment and asked, "There are only a few people in our Imperial Beast Hall. I don't know which 2 have the luck to be chosen. One is called Hao Run, and the other is called Wang Tai. I heard that they performed well in the battle conference. This old man just came out of seclusion and had nothing to do, so I just wanted to help the sect cultivate more elite disciples. The person replied, without changing his expression. So, it's the two of them. They have already joined my sect. Shaoling Yu said with a smile. In that case, they should have said so earlier and saved me the trouble of getting angry. The person first responded and then said strangely, but I went to the Hall of Fame to check before. The two of them have ascended less than 100 years ago and have not officially joined the sect, and there is no record of them being accepted as disciples. Haha, I just decided to accept them and have not taken them to the Hall of Fame to register. Shaoling Yu explained with a smile. In that case, it's obvious that I am competing with them. The person who came seemed to be dissatisfied with Shaoling Yu's explanation and said with a displeased tone, Everyone has a heart of love for talent. Shaoling Yu sighed and replied. At this point, it was actually very obvious. The corner of the person's mouth couldn't help but twitch a few times. The reason why he couldn't successfully take in a disciple was probably because this person had been obstructing him. It was obvious that this person wanted to make things difficult for him and put him on the spot. If he left like this and this matter spread out, how could he establish himself in the East Pole demon sect? This person's realm was only at the early true demon realm, and he had been cultivating at the intermediate true demon realm for many years. How could he be humiliated like this? Oomph. In that case, we can only do it according to the old rules. The person who came snorted coldly. What old rules? I just joined the sect not long ago, so I don't know what old rules are. Please advise me. Shaoling Yu said very calmly. No wonder you dare to compete with this old man. It turns out that you don't know the rules. The person replied disdainfully before continuing. The old rules of the sect are that if disciples of the same generation have a conflict, they will fight it out in the arena. Whoever's fist is harder will be the one in the right. Oh, so that's how it is. Shaoling Yu said, as if suddenly enlightened. How about it? Do you dare to go to the arena with me? The person who came asked confidently. The arena is a bit far. Why don't we do it here? Shaoling Yu also had a look of confidence. If we fight here, with our level, I'm afraid that we will destroy the Imperial Beast Hall. I can't afford to be held accountable by the sect. The person who came shook his head and said, Don't worry. If you fight with me, it won't be too big of a commotion. Shaoling Yu took another sip of tea and said. Chapter 264. You could try me if you don't believe me, Shaoling Yu said calmly. Oomph. I'd like to see how you can be so arrogant. The person was completely enraged. He smashed the table into pieces with a single slap. The aura that surged from his body caused the entire room to shake. If a true demon expert released his aura at full force, it would be enough to cause chaos in the Imperial Beast Hall without using any spells. However, just when a man was about to raise his aura, Shaoling Yu didn't seem to be affected at all. He just took a step forward and pressed his palm on the man's shoulder. To the person's surprise, not only was Shaoling Yu's speed extremely fast, but when he stretched his hand out, it was accompanied by an even more powerful aura. It sealed the entire room, making it impossible for the person to dodge. Shaoling Yu's realm was not as high as the person's, but his aura and strength were definitely far above that of a mid-stage true demon. A powerful, chaotic, demonic energy surged out from Shaoling Yu's palm and instantly sealed the person's cultivation. The person's aura immediately disappeared. His body stiffened on the spot, and his face was filled with shock. I told you that there wouldn't be much of a commotion when we fight. Do you believe me now? Shaoling Yu said with a smile, looking very relaxed. It seems that I was blind, the person said dejectedly after regaining his senses. Thank you for letting me win. Shaoling Yu saw that the person had admitted defeat and released him. Goodbye. The person was too embarrassed to stay any longer and immediately turned to leave. Until now, the hunchbacked elder still had not recovered from his shock. Although his realm was not high, he could see that Shaoling Yu was very powerful. Otherwise, how could he subdue a mid-stage true demon expert in an instant? The hunchbacked elder never thought that the person he wanted to win over and take care of would be so powerful. This huge difference made him feel dizzy. Let's go out for a walk. Shaoling Yu could guess what the hunchbacked old man was thinking. so she said politely, "Okay, okay." The hunchbacked old man hurriedly responded and followed, Xiaoling Yu out of the house. Unknowingly, the hunchbacked old man, who was not tall to begin with, seemed to have become shorter in front of Xiaoling Yu. A few days later, Xiaoling Yu, who was recuperating in seclusion, was invited out to meet guests again. The guest was none other than Elderly from the Hall of Records. Xiaoling Yu knew that he would come sooner or later, but she didn't expect him to be so impatient. It was a good thing for Xiaoling Yu that the person who wanted to talk to her couldn't remain calm. At the very least, she had an absolute psychological advantage. "I heard that Hu Hong came to the Imperial Beast Hall a few days ago and even fought with you." In Xiaoling Yu's room, the old man, surnamedly, asked curiously, "Hu Hong? Are you talking about that old guy in the middle stage of True Demon?" Xiaoling Yu said without batting an eyelid. "That's him. I heard that he didn't get anything out of you and left with his tail between his legs." Elderly nodded. "You've heard quite a lot." Xiaoling Yu smiled. Previously, he didn't want to reveal his true cultivation too early, so he was polite and respectful to these people. Now that he had revealed most of his cultivation, there was no need for him to keep a low profile. Hu Hong isn't a magnanimous person. You ruined his plans this time, so he'll definitely bear a grudge and wait for an opportunity to take revenge on you. Elderly seemed to kindly remind him, "It won't be that easy to take revenge on me," Xiaoling Yu said nonchalantly. If he was afraid of revenge, he wouldn't have taken the lead. It's not easy for him alone, but he entered the sect much earlier than you. The true demon experts in the sect are all on good terms with him. Elderly added, "Oh, you didn't come here today just to remind me of this, did you?" Xiaoling Yu asked with a smile. Xiaoling Yu now has a very good understanding of his own strength. As long as it's not a spirit demon expert looking for trouble with him, he basically has nothing to fear in the true demon realm. East Pole Demon Sect only has one spirit demon expert, and he has been in the East Pole Demon Cave for a long time. Even if he came out, he may not necessarily find trouble with him because of this small matter. Elderly pondered for a moment, as if he was still hesitating about something, then suddenly asked, "You really didn't see that person in the East Pole Demon Cave?" "Who?" Xiaoling Yu asked, pretending to be confused. "East Pole Demon Sect's Supreme Elder, the Spirit Demon Expert," Elderly said in a deep voice. "If I said I saw him, would you believe me?" Xiaoling Yu took out a teapot and asked while pouring tea, "How is his condition?" Elderly took the teacup and asked again. "Oh, you think too highly of me. With my cultivation, it's not enough to see the condition of a spirit demon expert." Xiaoling Yu took a sip of tea and said with a smile, "Since you can make Hu Hong suffer a loss, I estimate that you have the strength of a late-stage true demon. You should be able to see the condition of a spirit demon expert." Elderly refused to give up. "I can only see that his condition is not bad," Xiaoling Yu said indifferently. Xiaoling Yu said so, admitting that he has seen the East Pole Demon Sect Supreme Elder. "Did he say when he will come out?" Elderly asked again. "I think I've already said enough today. There are some things that I'd like you to clarify. For example, why are you asking about these things? For example, what benefits will I get if I tell you everything?" Xiaoling Yu said cautiously. "There are some things that are not good for you to know. As long as you answer my questions truthfully, I will definitely give you great benefits." Although Elder Li's cultivation is only at the peak of late-stage heavenly demon, he is not humble in front of Xiaoling Yu. "Why should I believe you?" A late-stage heavenly demon cultivator said that he will give great benefits to a true demon expert. How many people do you think will believe that? Xiaoling Yu said, while shaking his head. "There is one thing that I will tell you. You will believe me." Elderly paused for a moment, then said, "There is a devil fetus in that person." "What?" Even though Xiaoling Yu's state of mind is very calm, at this time, he was shocked by this sentence, and naturally he also had a look of disbelief. The East Pole Demon Sect Supreme Elder is a spirit demon expert, but this Elderly is only at the peak of late-stage heavenly demon. If Elderly has the Supreme Elder's devil fetus, Xiaoling Yu can accept it, but if it is the other way around, it is too inconceivable and illogical. The devil fetus technique of the East Pole Devil Sect was much more advanced than that of the Black Blood Devil Sect, in the cultivation world. The life and death of the cultivator who was implanted with the devil fetus had nothing to do with the cultivator who implanted the devil fetus. Otherwise, the experts of the East Pole Devil sect would not have dared to implant the devil fetus in others so recklessly. What proof do you have? Xiaoling Yu asked after coming back to his senses. In fact, Xiaoling Yu already believed in his heart, because this elderly is too special. Not only does he have a high position in the sect, but he also seems to see everything very accurately. Most importantly, Old Man Li had indeed been cultivating for many years. I don't have direct proof, but there is one thing that can at least prove my true identity. As Elderly spoke, a heavy black token appeared in his hand. The words East Pole Demon Sect were engraved on it, and the words Ancestor were also engraved at the top. This is actually the token of the East Pole Demon Sect's ancestor. Xiaoling Yu stared at the token for a while longer. He discovered that the token was actually a piece of supreme-grade, demonic treasure material. Coupled with the fact that it revealed a rather powerful restriction aura, Xiaoling Yu was certain that the token was not fake. "You're the ancestor?" Xiaoling Yu asked in astonishment. "Haha, of course not. That guy died long ago when he was trying to break through to the mystical demon realm. I am his disciple and can be considered the East Pole Demon Sect's true second-generation ancestor," Elderly said with a smile. "No wonder you were able to hide it so well." Xiaoling Yu sighed in admiration. "Now can you tell me about the situation inside?" Elderly asked. "I only met that person in a hurry and chatted with him for a while. He did not say when he would come out," Xiaoling Yu said perfunctorily. The more extraordinary the other party's identity was, the more Xiaoling Yu did not dare to be careless. "To be honest, I was prepared to take back the devil fetus when he reached the spirit demon realm. But he directly went to the East Pole Demon Cave and refused to come out. I thought of many ways and personally went to look for him, but the situation inside the East Pole Demon Cave is too complicated. If he wants to hide, I can't find him," Elderly said with a bit of anger. At this time, Xiaoling Yu secretly thought that he deserved it. He did not work hard to cultivate and instead wanted to deprive others of the fruits of their cultivation. He really did not deserve sympathy. After all, Xiaoling Yu was also implanted with a devil fetus, so he was more disgusted with this matter. "I'm afraid I can't help you with this matter," Xiaoling Yu said with a wry smile. "No, you can help me. You are quite strong. You should not be afraid of any existence of the true demon realm. Moreover, you have developed a strong bandit group outside," Elderly said with a shake of his head. "You know a lot more than I thought," Xiaoling Yu said in a serious tone. "Hee. Not only in the East Pole Demon Sect, but also in many places near the East Pole Demon Sect. Many small and large forces are willing to serve me. I have lived for so many years, it is impossible for me not to be prepared at all," Elderly said with a confident smile. "Then how do you want me to help you?" Xiaoling Yu asked curiously. "It's very simple. Help me lure that guy out of the East Pole Demon Cave, or force him out," Elderly said. "I don't think it's simple at all. You implanted a devil fetus in him. Once he comes out, he will face death. If I were him, I would not come out without full confidence," Xiaoling Yu said non-committally. Chapter 265. It's easier said than done to put these two people in danger, Xiaoling Yu said with a frown. "It might not be easy for others, but if you want to help, it won't be too hard." Old Man Li shook his head. "You planted a demon fetus in their father. How could they not be on guard against you?" Xiaoling Yu asked. "Hee, the current sect leader doesn't know that I planted a demon fetus in their father. They only know that I have a high status, but they don't know anything about my true identity," Old Man Li said with a smile. "After all, I just ascended to the devil realm not long ago. Don't place too much hope on me. Even if I'm willing to help you, there are so many disciples in the devil sect, as well as those true devil experts. They aren't people that I can deal with alone. Even if it's just the sect leader, I might not be able to beat him," Xiaoling Yu said indifferently. "I just said, I've lived for so long, and it's not like I'm unprepared. It's just that my own strength is limited, so I don't dare to trust those extremely powerful old fellows. It's because you just ascended that I dare to trust you. Old Manly explained. It seems like I don't need to get involved in this mess. I don't know much about your situation, so it's very easy for you to use me as a tool. Even if I help you force that person out, your strength will definitely increase greatly after you take back the demon fetus. At that time, you'll just kill me after I've outlived my usefulness. What can I do? Shaoling Yu said very cautiously. If you have any conditions, just say it. As long as I can do it, I won't refuse. Old Man, Li said generously. I just don't want to get involved in your matters. I don't plan on using this to gain benefits. Shaoling Yu shook his head and said, pulling chestnuts out of the fire, Shaoling Yu had done many times in the past. However, this wasn't the cultivation realm, and he didn't have the strength to do as he pleased. Aha, I didn't say all this in exchange for your words. You know so much, and you still want to refuse to help me? Old Man Li's face darkened as he coldly laughed. Shaoling Yu noticed the change in the other party's tone, but her expression remained unchanged as she replied, I don't usually consider things that I don't have absolute confidence in. You can rest assured that I won't reveal a single word of what you've just said to anyone else. Since I dare to tell you this, I have a way that you can't refuse. However, I don't want to fall out with you before we even start working together. Old Manly looked like he had Shaoling Yu in the bag. He tapped his fingers rhythmically on the table, full of confidence. Haha, I don't like it when people threaten me, Shaoling Yu replied without a hint of fear. It seems that I still need to remind you that you've already accepted the East Pole Devil's Sex soul restriction. What's wrong? Is there a problem with the soul restriction? Shaoling Yu asked. That soul restriction came from my hands, said the old man, surnamed Li. Oh. Shaoling Yu immediately narrowed her eyes, then calmly said, that soul restriction only prevents the Devil's Sex disciples from having any rebellious thoughts. It doesn't control the actions of the Devil's Sex disciples. My not cooperating with your plan doesn't count as betraying the East Pole Devil Sect. Haha, you're underestimating the restriction. Old Manly first laughed, then said, if it's just to prevent the Devil's Sex disciples from having any rebellious thoughts, all you need to do is make them swear a soul oath. Why would you need to plant a restriction in their souls? If that's the case, then there must be something fishy about the restriction. Tell me about it, Shaoling Yu said, forcing herself to remain calm. Her expression was calm, but Shaoling Yu's heart was already surging with waves. Having a restriction planted in one's soul was already a very troublesome matter. If there was a problem with the soul restriction, then the trouble would become danger. You might not believe me even if I told you. I can let you experience it for yourself. As Old Manly spoke, his eyes glowed, and he began to recite a shaky and profound incantation. Following the incantation, Shaoling Yu's soul began to tremble and churn, as if there were thousands of soldiers and horses running wildly. His face immediately paled, and he lost control of his soul. Shaoling Yu couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Old Manly then stopped reciting the incantation. He smiled and said, "How does it feel?" After the incantation stopped, Shaoling Yu's soul immediately calmed down, and the soul restriction that had suddenly erupted with power disappeared without a trace. Shaoling Yu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His expression was gloomy as he said, "That's a good trick. However, since you have such a trick, why do you need my help? Why don't you just go find the sect leader?" "Ha! Do you think the sect leader would have such a restriction on his body?" Old Manly asked with a smile. "Since this restriction was created by you, and you were able to make it resonate with your incantation, you should have a way to remove it, right?" Shaoling Yu asked again. "Of course there is a way. This can be one of the conditions of our cooperation." Old Manly nodded. "It's not one of the conditions. It's a down payment," Shaoling Yu said stubbornly. "You mean I'll help you remove this soul restriction first?" Old Man Li asked with a frown. "Of course. Otherwise, if I help you and you don't help me remove this restriction after accomplishing your goal, how am I supposed to reason with you?" Shaoling Yu said, not allowing for refusal. Old Manly thought for a moment, then said, "Before I help you remove the soul restriction, let's first make a soul oath and reach an agreement to cooperate." "That's fine, But the oath must state that regardless of success or failure, we can't scheme against each other. Xiaoling Yu added. No problem. Old Man Li straightforwardly agreed and took the first step to make the oath according to the agreement. Because of the restriction of the soul restriction, Xiaoling Yu could only choose to help Old Man Li and immediately made the oath as well. After Xiaoling Yu finished making the oath, Old Man Li seemed to relax quite a bit. He generously said, "Relax your soul. I'll cast a spell to remove the soul restriction for you." The process of removing the soul restriction was very short. Old Man Li only chanted the incantation again, causing the restriction in the depths of Xiaoling Yu's soul to resonate and appear. Old Man Li then loudly shouted, and the light in his eyes directly entered the depths of Xiaoling Yu's soul. In a few breaths of time, the light completely removed the soul restriction. When do we begin? With the soul restriction removed, although Xiaoling Yu's body no longer had the East Pole Devil Sect's special aura, it also removed a burden and restriction. Naturally, the sooner the better. I've already prepared for this for many years. I'm just missing a late-stage, true demon helper like you. Old Man Li replied. You also know that I'm still injured. In my current state, I can't deal with a late-stage, true demon expert. Xiaoling Yu continued. Old Man Li muttered to himself for a moment before saying, There's no harm in waiting. But to tell the truth, I've been stuck in the late-stage divine demon realm for too long. Now, my lifespan is about to run out. Don't worry, I won't make you wait too long. I need to recuperate for a period of time in order to face you in peak condition. This will increase the chances of our plan succeeding. Xiaoling Yu said reasonably. I have a pill here that is very useful for healing injuries. Take it and consume it. A small jade bottle appeared in Old Man Li's hand. Within it was a silver gray pill. Xiaoling Yu didn't refuse. But after taking the bottle, he said meaningfully, There won't be a problem with this pill, right? If you don't want to eat it, then just give it back. Old Man Li reached out to grab the bottle. Now that it's in my hands, don't even think about getting it back. Xiaoling Yu casually put the bottle into his storage magic treasure and said with a smile. Just now, the two of them had already sworn that they wouldn't scheme against each other. From this, it could be concluded that there was no problem with this pill. Since the plan was set, Old Man Li left first. Xiaoling Yu once again carefully inspected his soul in the secret room. After confirming that there were no abnormalities, he took out the silver gray pill. So it's a top-grade pill. No wonder that Old Man felt a bit of heartache. After inspecting it for a moment, Xiaoling Yu swallowed the pill. The medicinal power spread throughout his body. Xiaoling Yu's bones, flesh, and organs quickly recovered. After all, it was a top-grade demonic pill. Naturally, its medicinal effects weren't bad. The quality of Xiaoling Yu's body was close to that of a top-grade demonic artifact. After receiving heavy injuries, not only was the recovery not obvious, but it was also extremely slow. Only a top-grade demonic pill could heal him in a short period of time. Half a month later, Xiaoling Yu suddenly woke up from his meditation. It wasn't that his body had recovered, but that he felt his communication pearl vibrate. Sinking his consciousness into the pearl, Xiaoling Yu calmly stood up and left the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall. He walked all the way to the East Pole Devil Sect's main gate. Unlike when he casually walked through the East Pole Devil Sect's encampment, the demonic beasts everywhere couldn't sense the unique aura of the East Pole Devil Sect on Xiaoling Yu. They all raised their heads and growled at him. Xiaoling Yu directly released his consciousness, causing the demonic beasts with low cultivations to fall into a deep sleep. After leaving the East Pole Devil Sect's encampment, Xiaoling Yu flew towards the Devil Scorpion Valley at full speed. At the entrance of the Devil Scorpion Valley, Zhu Jin and Gong he were quietly waiting. When they saw Xiaoling Yu flying over, they both greeted him. You're finally back, Xiaoling Yu said to Gong he after landing. Blood Moon City isn't close to here. I didn't stop for a moment on the way back. After returning to the branch, I issued your mission and rushed back. Gong he scratched his head and explained. You sent a message saying that the Meng family is going to attack the Heavenly Bandits. Why is that? Could it be that the matter from last time was leaked? Xiaoling Yu asked. It's not because of the matter from last time. It's because someone found out that Zhu Jin is here, and that person went to the Meng family to inform them. Gong He shook his head. Then how are you going to deal with it? Xiaoling Yu asked. Chapter 266. It's right to move all of us, but if we keep hiding like this, it's not a good idea. What if one day, the Meng family suddenly attack us without you knowing? How are we going to deal with them? Xiaoling Yu said with worry. We don't seem to have any other choice except to hide. I have investigated the Meng family. Although I can't find out their specific strength, at least one thing is certain. They don't lack spirit demon experts, and their current patriarch seems to be a late-stage spirit demon expert. Gong He said with a wry smile. Then does First Master have any good ideas? Zhu Jin asked with a gloomy expression. Oh, now that we have been noticed by the Meng family, it is impossible for us to move long distance. We can only find an absolutely safe place to hide. Xiaoling Yu replied after thinking for a while. But where is there an absolutely safe place around here? The Meng family has been operating around the Meng family for many years. No matter where we hide, they can find us, unless we don't do anything in the future. Gong He said with a sad face. If there is no other way, just give me to the Meng family. Zhu Jin said helplessly. That's a good idea. Xiaoling Yu replied without thinking. And when Gong He and Zhu Jin stared at him in a daze, he said again, if this can solve the problem, I am very likely to choose this option. But even if I give you to the Meng family, they will not give up. Why? Gong He was puzzled. Because this kid has a treasure on him, and even if this kid goes to the Meng family, I don't think he will give the treasure to the Meng family. So, the Meng family will definitely believe that this kid gave the treasure to the Heavenly Bandits. Do you think the Meng family will let go of the Heavenly Bandits? Xiaoling Yu seemed to be seriously analyzing. That's true. Gong He nodded, then blinked his eyes and asked, is there really a treasure? Xiaoling Yu smiled and didn't speak. Zhu Jin hesitated a little, then nodded and said, there is a treasure, but if there is no spirit demon expert to lead us, we will only die. Let's talk about the treasure later. Right now, the most important thing is how to keep our lives under the pursuit of the Meng family. Is there any enemy of the Meng family nearby? Or is there an existence that the Meng family doesn't dare to provoke? Xiaoling Yu changed the topic. Zhu Jin and Gong He fell into deep thought. After a long while, Gong He said about 200,000 li to the west, there's a third-rate sect called the Blood Soul sect. We can actually hide there. Although 200,000 li is not far, it's just a third-rate sect. The Meng clan should not have too many scruples. Xiaoling Yu shook her head and said, I heard that the Blood Soul sect is attached to the Chepo sect, and the Chepo sect is a first-rate sect in the Blood Moon continent. I think the Meng family won't dare to behave atrociously in the territory of the Blood Soul sect. Gong He explained. Chepo sect. Xiaoling Yu felt that this name was a bit familiar. She carefully recalled that not long after she ascended, she saw the teleportation hall of the Chepo sect. Is this news reliable? Zhu Jin asked with bright eyes. I just heard about it. As for whether it is reliable or not, I don't know. Gong He said, although it is very difficult to verify, it can also be speculated based on the many years of interaction between the Meng family and the Blood Soul sect. For example, did the Meng family take the initiative to find fault with the Blood Soul sect? If so, did they take advantage of it? Xiaoling Yu said, indeed, we can check it out. After all, the Blood Soul sect is not very far from Menjing City. After so many years, the Meng family and the Blood Soul sect should have some interactions. Zhu Jin added, if the relationship between the Blood Soul sect and the Chepo sect is not shallow, in fact, you can also think of a way to sow discord between them or create a misunderstanding between them. Let the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family have a conflict, which will lead the Chepo sect to suppress or even eliminate the Meng family. Xiaoling Yu said while stroking his chin, this is the strategy of driving the tiger to swallow the wolf. However, provoking the tiger and the wolf is also a very dangerous thing. Zhu Jin said with a little worry, but it is better than sitting still and waiting for death. In our situation, we will not be able to deal with the Meng family for a long time. We can only ask others to do it for us. Xiaoling Yu said with a smile. After this matter was decided, Xiaoling Yu returned to the Eastern Demon Sect's Imperial Beast Hall Valley and continued to recuperate in seclusion. Although he was also very concerned about whether the Heavenly Bandits would be destroyed by the Meng family, Xiaoling Yu had no time spare. Solving the plan of Old Man Li was the top priority. Besides, even if Xiaoling Yu personally led the Heavenly Bandits, it wouldn't be of much use. Moreover, it would only put him in more danger. People were selfish. Xiaoling Yu and the Heavenly Bandits didn't have a deep relationship. To put it bluntly, he just wanted this bandit group to develop and help him earn more magic stones. At least for now, he wouldn't risk his life for the sake of the Heavenly Bandits. Another half a year passed. Xiaoling Yu once again woke up from his meditation. It wasn't that someone knocked on his door, but that he sensed movement in his spirit beast pouch. The strange cub, which had the same primal chaos magic power as Xiaoling Yu, finally woke up from its deep sleep. It blinked its pair of sleepy eyes. After looking around a few times, it began to devour the bodies of the magical beasts that Xiaoling Yu had collected in the Eastern Demon Cave. Although the strange cub was now at the level of a true demon, it was still very small. It was only half a foot long, and the carapace on its back had a metallic texture. What surprised Xiaoling Yu was that the magical beasts that he had sent in were all at the level of a true demon. In less than the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the little fellow had swallowed all of them. Moreover, it only patted its little belly in a charmingly naive manner, without the slightest bit of discomfort. This little fellow is probably going to be a monster in the future. Xiaoling Yu praised in his heart. Then, with a thought, the little fellow appeared on his arm. Although it had been asleep for many years, the strange cub was still very affectionate and dependent on Xiaoling Yu. It directly jumped onto Xiaoling Yu's shoulder and stuck out its little tongue to lick his cheek. After playing with the strange cub for a few days, Xiaoling Yu continued to concentrate on recuperating. But after a few months, Xiaoling Yu suddenly found that the strange cub in the spirit beast bag was rolling around in pain. He invited it out. At this time, the strange cub's entire body was shining with chaotic light. Even Xiaoling Yu's thoughts could not penetrate the layer of light to check its body. Since he could not check, he naturally did not know why the strange cub was in so much pain. Seeing that it had been holding its stomach, Xiaoling Yu frowned and said, could it be that it ate too much before and got stuffed or had a stomachache? Xiaoling Yu was burning with worry, but he did not know what to do. But fortunately, the strange cub's pain only lasted for an hour. What Xiaoling Yu did not expect was that after experiencing this pain, the strange cub's cultivation actually dropped to the early stage of the heavenly demon realm. But its cultivation realm was much more stable than before. Why did it drop so much all of a sudden? Xiaoling Yu had never encountered such a situation, so he was naturally surprised. Under normal circumstances, if a cultivator's cultivation dropped so much, they would not be able to live for long. But this strange cub's condition was very good. The pain disappeared, and the chaotic light on the strange cub's body also disappeared. Xiaoling Yu sank his thoughts into its body, but was surprised to find that there was an additional grayish-black bead in its body. Inside the bead, there was a rich, chaotic magic. So, it's an energy crystal core in its body. No, even if its power is gathered, why is it only at the early stage of the heavenly demon realm? Xiaoling Yu was relieved at first, but then he was puzzled. In less than the time it took to drink a cup of tea, Xiaoling Yu's question was answered. The strange cub actually spat out the grayish-black bead. After spitting out the bead, the strange cub did not have the slightest bit of regret. Instead, it looked as if a heavy burden had been lifted off its shoulders. It was as if the bead did not belong to it in the first place, and it even gave it a lot of pressure. How can this be? Xiaoling Yu found the answer to his question, but he was still full of doubts. Xiaoling Yu first carefully checked the strange cub and found that it was still in good condition. Its body did not have any changes due to the drop in its cultivation, so he was slightly relieved. Then he stared at the grayish-black bead. He felt that it was not an energy carrier, but a pill. The strange cub stretched its body slightly, and then used one of its front claws to grab the grayish-black bead and brought it to Xiaoling Yu. Its other front claw kept gesturing at the side of its mouth. "You want me to eat it?" Xiaoling Yu asked in surprise. Squeak, squeak. The strange cub nodded and growled. "How can I do that? It's yours." Xiaoling Yu refused. The strange cub had been with Xiaoling Yu for a long time, so it could naturally understand Xiaoling Yu's words. It immediately waved its hands, indicating that the bead was useless to it, and that Xiaoling Yu could eat it without worry. Xiaoling Yu pondered for a moment before swallowing the round bead that looked like a pill. He reckoned that this little fellow would not harm him. After the bead entered Xiaoling Yu's stomach, he first tried to break it down. Although the bead was like a pill, it did not disperse after entering the stomach. Does it need to be refined? Xiaoling Yu hesitated for a while, and then brought the bead into his dantian, wanting to use the primordial fire to refine it. But just as the bead entered his dantian, the nascent soul's eyes suddenly widened. Without Xiaoling Yu's control, it reached out and grabbed the bead and then put it into its mouth like a child eating candy. But what surprised Xiaoling Yu was that after the bead entered the nascent soul's stomach, it did not bring any changes to himself or the nascent soul. In Xiaoling Yu's mind, the bead was just quietly floating in the nascent soul's stomach. Chapter 267. In the secret room, Xiaoling Yu and Old Man Li of the Record Hall sat cross-legged facing each other. "Your bandit group doesn't seem to be nearby recently," Old Man Li said. "They have encountered a little trouble recently." Xiaoling Yu indifferently replied, "Hee, the trouble is not small. The Meng family of Minjing City is very strong. No one dares to provoke them in the vicinity." Old Man Li said with a smile, "I admit that your eyes and ears are wide, but this matter has nothing to do with my bandit group, right?" Xiaoling Yu narrowed her eyes and said, "Indeed, besides you, the strongest bandit group is only at the early true demon realm. They are not of any help to our operation. However, you have offended the Meng family. You should make plans early. The Meng family is not a magnanimous person. They have been arrogant in this area for many years. Most of the people or forces that have been targeted by them do not have a good ending." Old Man Li kindly reminded, "Then do you have any good suggestions?" Xiaoling Yu asked, "My suggestion is to directly disband your bandit group. Let the Meng family lose their target. After a long time, the Meng family will gradually forget about you. If you're targeted by the Meng family, it will be very difficult for you to move long distances. If you continue to hide in the vicinity, sooner or later you will be discovered. At that time, you'll have no way to go." Old Man Li said, "This suggestion is not very good." Xiaoling Yu said non-committally, "At least it is better than you hiding next to the Blood Soul sect." Old Man Li said with a smile, "It seems that nothing can escape your eyes, but I think that if you have something to say, it is better to say it in one breath." Xiaoling Yu said with displeasure, "You may already know that the Blood Soul sect and the Chepo sect have some relationship. So, you think that the Meng family will hesitate to attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases. But in fact, if the Meng family is determined to eliminate your bandit group, they will not necessarily give face to the Blood Soul sect. As long as the Meng family doesn't touch the fundamental interests of the Blood Soul sect and doesn't let the Blood Soul sect suffer too much losses, the Chepo sect may not necessarily attack the Meng family." At this point, Old Man Li paused for a moment before continuing. "The Meng family was able to survive in Meng AI City for so many years not only because of the strength of their own family, but also because they have the support of the first-rate families of the Blood Moon continent. The ancestor of the Meng clan, Meng Lei, used to be one of the top experts in the Blood Moon continent. Although he has left the Blood Moon continent for many years, who knows if he is dead or not? Who knows when he will come back? Let's talk about our cooperation." Xiaoling Yu changed the topic. In fact, Xiaoling Yu already knew that the Meng clan was not to be trifled with, but now that he had already provoked them, he could only brace himself and deal with them. Disbanding the Heavenly Bandits now, without any effort, was not Xiaoling Yu's style. No matter how strong the other party was, as long as there was still hope, Xiao Lingyu would never easily give up. Besides, the Ming clan was only dealing with the Heavenly Bandits. Even if the Heavenly Bandits were completely destroyed, Xiao Lingyu would at most feel some pain. When the Ming clan targeted him, not only would it be convenient for him to hide, he would also have a lot of time to escape. Of course, Xiao Lingyu was naturally more willing to see the Heavenly Bandits go further and safely grow stronger. Old Man Li did not say much about the Heavenly Bandits and the Ming clan. He immediately began to talk about the plan he had been working on for many years. After talking for half an hour, Old Man Li leisurely left. Xiao Lingyu closed his eyes and meditated, adjusting his state. 3 days later, in the evening, the East Pole Demon Sect's encampment suddenly exploded, and then the entire encampment violently shook a few times. Is it about to start? Xiao Lingyu, who was meditating, opened his eyes, then got up and left his room. At this time, the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall was already in chaos. Those frightened young magical beasts were running all over the place. Even the adult magical beasts that were locked in cages were roaring again and again. The hunchbacked old man, Haorun, Wang Tai, and Miao Yin were busy everywhere. Xiao Lingyu calmly walked out of the Imperial Beast Hall's valley, but he saw several figures flying in the sky, intertwining with each other. A series of explosions and waves of energy raged in the night sky of the East Pole Demon Sect's encampment. Occasionally, powerful magical artifacts could be seen fiercely clashing with each other. From time to time, there were figures flying in the sky from all over the East Pole Demon Sect's encampment, joining the battle. The battle was getting more and more intense. Xiao Lingyu did not move, but kept staring at the night sky, covering it with his consciousness without concealing it. Almost all the true demon stage experts of the East Pole Demon Sect were in the sky, and there were many cultivators fighting with them. There were a total of 10 people, but there was no late-stage, true demon stage existence. Although the sect master of the East Pole Demon Sect was a late-stage, true demon stage expert, he was also pinned down by 2 middle-stage, true demon stage opponents. However, this was the East Pole Demon Sect's encampment after all. Those Devil King stage disciples joined the battle one after another, and their combined attack power was not small. The situation was still favorable to the East Pole Demon Sect. The invading enemies were all suppressed and could not pose too much of a threat. The battle in the night sky lasted for less than the time it took to drink a cup of tea. The invading enemies were shrouded in demon chi, making it impossible to see their faces clearly. They collectively retreated, and the East Pole Demon Sect, who had the upper hand, naturally chased after them. At this time, Xiao Lingyu's whole body surged with chaotic demon chi, and then he flew out of the East Pole Demon Sect. However, the direction he flew in was not the direction of the East Pole Demon Sect's experts. In a mountain forest about 1,000 miles away from the East Pole Demon Sect, Xiao Lingyu stopped and stood on top of a mountain. He spread out his consciousness with all his strength and waited quietly. In his consciousness, Xiao Lingyu had already discovered that there were many people hiding in this mountain forest. Although these people's auras were very tightly concealed by some kind of magic, Xiao Lingyu's realm was higher than theirs, so he could detect their existence. Of course, if Old Man Li hadn't already informed him that there were people lying in ambush here, Xiao Lingyu might not have carefully searched the surroundings with his consciousness. Although there were only 30 or so people lying in ambush nearby, they were all mid and late Demon King cultivators. Together, they could at least restrain 3 early true demon cultivators or 1 mid-true demon cultivator. In a situation where they were evenly matched, they were the key to victory. In the battle in the night sky of the East Pole Demon Sect, Xiao Lingyu also saw that the 10 or so true demon experts invited by Old Man Li would not be defeated so easily. They were just deliberately luring the East Pole Demon Sect's experts here. Once Xiao Lingyu joined the battle, he would first restrain the East Pole Demon Sect's sect master. Then, the other true demon cultivators of the East Pole Demon Sect would surely be defeated quickly. However, defeating the other party was not the goal. The most important thing was to trap the other party. Xiaoling Yu didn't know much about Old Man Li's specific plan. He only knew that his mission was to restrain the East Pole Demon Sect's sect master and consume his strength. It would be best if he could injure him. This wasn't a good place to trap the enemy, but if the terrain was too special, people with discerning eyes could easily see that it was impossible to just rush in. Less than an hour after Xiaoling Yu arrived, the 10 true demon experts invited by Old Man Li arrived one after another and scattered in all directions. The 6 true demon stage experts of the East Pole Demon Sect, including the sect master of the East Pole Demon Sect, also rushed over. They paused for a moment in front and then chased after them. Before they could stand firm, streams of light transformed from magic treasures came flying at them. At this time, Xiaoling Yu's primal chaos demonic qi surged all over his body. He flew out and rushed towards the East Pole Demon Sect's experts with the other experts invited by Old Man Li. However, Old Man Li originally invited 10 true demon cultivators, but now there were only 5. Adding Xiaoling Yu, it was exactly the same number of experts as the East Pole Demon Sect. Xiaoling Yu could guess that the other 5 true demon experts on his side, as well as those Demon King experts, were either waiting for an opportunity to move or preparing some kind of formation. According to the agreement, after Xiaoling Yu rushed into the air, he immediately launched the primal chaos seal to blow up the 6 opponents, making them unable to group up. Then, he aimed at the East Pole Demon Sect's sect master and attacked. In just a few moments, every true demon expert of the East Pole Demon Sect had an opponent. At this time, they also felt that the situation was not right, but it was very difficult for them to retreat. No matter who wanted to retreat, the 5 true demon experts watching from the surroundings would move and beat back the person who wanted to break out. Although I can't see your appearance clearly, I feel that I have seen you before. After the demon sect's sect master and Xiaoling Yu exchanged a palm, he narrowed his eyes and said, after all, he was a late true demon expert. As long as he saw someone, he would remember the aura of the other party and would feel it when he saw them again in the future. Xiaoling Yu naturally wouldn't talk much with the demon sect's sect master, nor did he use any magic weapon. He just quickly moved his body while pinching the primal chaos seal. For a late true demon expert, Xiaoling Yu could only use the primal chaos seal to deal with him, except for his fists and magic weapons. The East Pole Demon Sect's sect master was naturally not a mediocre person. Not only was his speed extremely fast, he could easily catch up with Xiaoling Yu, who didn't use the extreme speed wings. Moreover, there was a high-grade demon sword hovering above his head, which could threaten Xiaoling Yu's safety. Although it was only a high-grade demon sword, the quality of this high-grade demon sword was close to that of a peak-grade demon sword. With the support of the East Pole Demon Sect's sect master, it was enough to pierce Xiaoling Yu's body. The most important thing was that Xiaoling Yu's realm was lower than the other party. The other party could lock onto his attack, but he couldn't lock onto the other party. Fortunately, the Primal Chaos Seal's attack range was relatively large. Even if it couldn't lock on, it could still form a strong attack. In any case, the mission given by Old Man Li wasn't necessarily to injure the East Pole Demon Sect's sect master. Xiaoling Yu only needed to restrain him and wait for the others to defeat their opponents and come to help. Chapter 268. The battle in the sky was getting more and more intense, and the true demon stage experts on both sides had already suffered injuries. However, the number of true demon stage experts invited by Old Man Li was quite large. Whenever someone was injured, they would immediately retreat and be replaced by other true demon stage experts who were responsible for surrounding them. However, there was no one to replace on the East Pole Demon Sect side, so the consumption naturally increased. Just as the East Pole Demon Sect's experts realized the danger and were about to desperately break out of the encirclement, the Demon King stage experts who were hiding in the surroundings all rushed out. Each of them had an array flag in their hands. While chanting incantations, they formed hand seals. Looking at their appearance, it was likely that a large array would be formed soon. It wasn't until this time that the Demon King stage disciples of the East Pole Demon Sect caught up but there were 5 true demon stage experts invited by Old Man Lee guarding outside. As soon as the Demon King stage disciples of the East Pole Demon Sect arrived, they were also forced into the encirclement. In less than 20 breaths of time, the sky, which was originally a little dim, directly became pitch black. Dark clouds covered the sky, and demonic chi surged. The sound of wind and thunder sounded everywhere, as if the heavens were angry. All the cultivators' thoughts were restrained, and it was difficult to release them too far. Not only did it make it impossible for everyone to lock onto each other to attack, but it was also difficult for everyone to find their opponents. However, the range of this demonic array was not very large. No matter how dark it was inside, as long as everyone moved a little, they would be able to touch their opponents. In the demonic array, it was still 6 against 6. The 5 true demon stage experts on Old Man Lee's side were responsible for presiding over the demonic array. Shaolin Yu and the others restrained the true demon stage experts of the East Pole Demon Sect, making them unable to break the demonic array when it was gathering power. Those demon sect disciples who were only at the Demon King stage were unable to break the array presided over by the true demon stage experts. Most of the experts of the East Pole Demon Sect had become turtles in a jar. According to the agreement, Shaolin Yu and the others no longer attacked, but only dealt with the true demon stage experts of the other side, so that the other side could not break the array or take care of other things, so that the other side could not recover. The opponent's true demon stage experts were still able to protect themselves, but when the power of the demonic array increased, the Demon King stage disciples who were surrounded by the demonic array could only wander around like headless flies. Anyone could see that once all the Devil King stage disciples were killed, the power of the demon array would be transferred to the true Devil stage experts of the East Pole Demon Sect. At that time, the East Pole Demon Sect would suffer unprecedented losses. At such a critical moment, all the experts of Eastern Demon Sect had the same idea, and that was to ask their Spirit Demon Stage Supreme Elder to turn the tide. The East Extreme Devil Sect Master also had the same thought. After all, the Supreme Elder was his father. Although the Supreme Elder had gone to the East Extreme Devil Cave for closed-door training, he still had a way to contact the Supreme Elder. However, the Supreme Elder had told him before that unless it was a matter of life and death, they were not to contact each other. Therefore, after hesitating for a while, the Devil Sect leader still did not send a message. He felt that he should be able to charge out. As for the lives of the other Devil Sect experts or disciples, although the Devil Sect leader also cared about it, it was not as serious as his father's words. If he wanted to rush out, he had to first deal with his opponent. If there was a strong opponent who had been restraining him, the Devil Sect leader would not be able to succeed in breaking out. Thinking of this, the Devil Sect leader had a demonic talisman in his hand. Although there was a look of reluctance on his face, he still took advantage of the fact that the person who was entangling him was chasing him and directly attacked. The Devil Sect leader and Shaolin Yu had also been fighting for a long time. They had used almost all kinds of means, but they had not been able to win. He could guess that the other party should not have used his full strength, and his strength was definitely not below him. So he could only use his trump card. And this demonic talisman was the trump card of the Devil Sect leader. It was given to him by his father before he went to the East Extreme Devil Cave. Once this demonic talisman exploded, it could erupt with an attack power that was not weaker than the full blow of a Spirit Demon early stage expert. Although the Spirit Demon early stage and the True Demon late stage were only one step apart, the two were completely different levels. As long as a True Demon late stage expert did not have a very high-level magic treasure defense, it was impossible for them to withstand the bombardment of this demonic talisman. This demonic talisman was also black. Under the cover of the surrounding devil chi, it whistled over. Before it got close, the powerful aura it exuded had already made Shaolin Yu's pores open, and his heart repeatedly sent out warnings of danger. Without thinking, Shaolin Yu let the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs fly out from his body and add another circle to his primal chaos light shield. Boom! An explosion shook the heavens, and a powerful shockwave swept out in all directions. Under the protection of the demon-suppressing immortal orbs, the demonic talisman directly exploded. Although Xiaoling Yu was prepared, he was too close to the center of the explosion. Almost in an instant, his primal chaos light shield had already shattered. The powerful shockwave of the aura acted on his body, causing his body to fly backward at an extremely fast speed. There was also a burst of heart-wrenching pain. Divine magic treasure? At this time, the Devil Sect leader was incomparably shocked. He never thought that the other party would not use a magic treasure. Once he used it, it was a magic treasure that specialized in restraining devil Dao cultivators. Seeing that the other party quickly stabilized his flying body and only spat out a few mouthfuls of blood, he knew that he had no other choice. Xiaoling Yu had actually suffered heavy injuries, but the impact on his battle strength was not that great. Since he had already used the demon-suppressing immortal orbs, as long as he activated the wings of extreme speed, he could easily defeat this true demon late-stage expert. Because he was not sure if the Devil Sect leader still had such a demonic talisman, Xiaoling Yu controlled the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs to surround the other party, wanting to trap him first. According to Old Man Li, before the East Pole Devil Sect's Grand Elder came out, the Devil Sect leader absolutely could not die. As long as he was trapped, it would be fine. Being trapped in the Devil Array is a trap. Being trapped in the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs is also a trap. Since the effect is the same, Xiaoling Yu naturally chose the safer ladder. The Devil Sect leader had already used up a lot of his power, and in his poor condition, he could only dodge for a while before being caught up by the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs. However, before he was sealed, a black jade tablet appeared in his hand, and he crushed it without hesitation. At this time, the spirit demon stage expert in the East Pole Devil Cave was refining the key with his true fire in front of an iron box on a stone table. He was originally focused, but suddenly his body trembled, and he frowned as if he sensed something in his heart. However, he did not stand up directly, but accelerated the movements of his hands, and in 100 breaths, he actually refined the key. Opening the iron box, he did not look at it more. He put away the treasure inside and slapped the stone table. The stone table cracked, and he jumped into the dark passage. After a few hours, the spirit demon stage expert appeared at the exit of the East Pole Devil Cave, and the stone slab on top of his head was split open by his palm. As soon as he appeared in the East Pole Devil Palace, he saw an old acquaintance, and the last person he wanted to see after hiding for many years. "You finally come out," the old man, surnamed Li from the Hall of Records, said with a calm expression. "I guessed it was you, and only you have the ability and motive to do this," the spirit demon stage expert said calmly. "I have no choice but to do this. I don't have much time left. If you continue to hide, I am afraid I will be exhausted by you," Old Manly said helplessly. "How is he now?" the spirit demon stage expert asked after a light snort. "Don't worry, he will be fine. As long as you cooperate with me to retrieve the devil embryo, I guarantee that he will be safe and sound and can continue to be the sect leader of the East Pole Devil Sect in the future," Old Manly said with a smile. "Oh, do you know why I've been hiding in the East Pole Devil Cave all these years?" The spirit demon stage expert also laughed. "What else could it be? You just want to hide inside and let me exhaust myself to death outside?" Old Manly replied self-righteously. "You only know one thing, you don't know the other." The spirit demon stage expert shook his head. "Oh, do you have other ideas? By the way, you can open a lot of boxes, but you're just an early spirit demon. You can only wander around the devil cave of true demon stage. You don't dare to enter the devil cave of spirit demon stage. What good things can you get?" Old Manly said without changing his expression. "Actually, I am looking for a way to solve the problem of the devil embryo," the spirit demon stage expert said indifferently. "Haha, that's just a futile effort. This devil embryo technique is widely spread in the devil world, and countless devil path experts have studied it, but no one has been able to find a solution for it for hundreds of millions of years, and you dare to have such delusions." Old Manly sneered. "Nothing is impossible in this world. I'm afraid it is precisely because everyone thinks that this devil embryo technique is invulnerable that no one delves into it. But in fact, if you really want to calm down and study it carefully, you can also gain something." The spirit demon stage expert shook his head and said, "Humph, don't talk nonsense. I want to see what you have studied for so many years." Old Man Lee's patience has long been worn out. After his words fell, his eyes flashed, and his mouth began to chant an incantation. Maybe because of the devil fetus planted in his body. Although the spirit demon expert was much stronger than Old Man Lee, he didn't try to stop Etienne. He just smiled as if he was ready to accept everything. Old Man Lee's eyes quickly entered the spirit demon stage expert's body, and with the help of the incantation, the devil embryo in the spirit demon stage expert's dantian was moved out. A little black person floated between the two. At this time, his eyes were wide open, and his two small hands were constantly pinching, cooperating with Old Man Lee's incantation. After a cup of tea's time, Old Man Lee shouted, and his devil infant came out and came to the front of the devil embryo and opened his mouth to make an irresistible suction force. Chapter 269. In less than 100 breaths of time, the devil fetus completely sank into the belly of Old Man Lee's devil infant. This is only the first step. The energy in the devil fetus was only preliminary refined by Old Man Lee. The next step is the second step of refining. However, this devil fetus technique was of a higher level than the devil fetus technique of the cultivation world's black blood devil sect. During the second step of refining, it could erase the opponent's consciousness from within the devil fetus. This way, the devil fetus could be completely refined into Old Man Lee's devil infant. But when Old Man Lee's devil infant fused with the energy in the devil fetus, the devil infant wanted to erase the consciousness of the devil fetus, but was surprised to find that there are many consciousnesses in the devil fetus. Old Man Lee didn't know what to do. Although this is a more advanced devil fetus technique, but once it starts, it can't be stopped. After all, the other party is its spirit demon stage. Even if Old Man Lee has the devil fetus technique, he can't distinguish which one is the consciousness of the other party, so he can only choose one first. In this case, as long as Old Man Lee's luck is not very good, it is difficult to choose the right target. What surprised Old Man Lee was that as soon as he erased the consciousness he had chosen, his demon infant lost contact with him in a matter of moments. Moreover, it was not under his control. It slowly left his body and moved toward the other party. The spirit demon stage expert who just came out of the Eastern Devil Cave smiled and waved his hand, and the devil infant that originally belonged to Old Man Lee was absorbed into his body. How can this be? Old Man Lee, who was already at the end of his life, lost his devil infant, and said this sentence. His body weakened and his vitality quickly disappeared. Humph! The spirit demon stage expert snorted contemptuously. Then he went out of the side hall and flew high again. Spreading out his thoughts, the spirit demon stage expert looked at a direction and rushed at full speed. The speed of the spirit demon stage expert is extremely fast, and in less than a cup of tea's time, he has already found the large array. "Break for me!" The spirit demon stage expert shouted and raised one of his arms and swung it forward. As soon as he raised his arm, a huge palm print has gathered above the devil array. Boom! The huge palm slammed down from the sky and instantly smashed open the array. The devil chi in the array swept out in all directions. Several true devil stage cultivators, as well as the devil king stage cultivators who were in charge of the grand array, all spat out blood and flew back. Shaoling Yu, who was in the demon array, had been using the sixth demon suppressing immortal pearls to seal the Eastern Pole Devil Sect's sect master. When the giant palm slammed down, he felt a sense of danger in his heart and immediately withdrew the demon suppressing immortal pearls to protect his body. As the giant palm slammed down, the demonic array collapsed, and the power of the giant palm weakened a lot. Even without the defense of the devil-suppressing immortal orb, Shaoling Yu would be fine. However, to be able to destroy the demon array with a single blow, Shaoling Yu instantly guessed that it was a spirit demon expert. When he saw the spirit demon expert, Shaoling Yu couldn't help but break out in cold sweat. This old fellow had indeed come out, but how could he be safe and sound? All the helpers who were invited by Old Man Li were shocked at this time. The great elder of the Eastern Pole Devil Sect came, but Old Man Li didn't come. Everyone was surprised, but at the same time, they could guess that Old Man Li must have been bitten by the tiger. Everyone was not a fool. Seeing this, they immediately fled in all directions. Shaoling Yu even had the wings of extreme speed behind him, turning into a silver streamer. Those who helped the tiger must die. The spirit demon expert sneered, his body flashed, and directly appeared in front of a true devil intermediate stage cultivator. With a palm, the true devil intermediate stage cultivator's body directly burst open. In front of the spirit demon expert, the true devil intermediate stage cultivator was as weak as a baby without any resistance. In addition to Shaoling Yu, the other 10 true devil stage cultivators who were invited by Old Man Li were all ruthlessly killed by the great elder of the Eastern Pole Devil Sect in less than 20 breaths of time. In the devil path, there are few people who are soft-hearted, especially when dealing with the enemy. While killing the true devil stage cultivators, the spirit demon expert also killed a lot of demon king stage cultivators very easily. The reason why a sect can only enter the devil path if they have a spirit demon expert is because the spirit demon expert really has a strong deterrent force and can kill everyone. After Shaoling Yu used the wings of extreme speed, his speed was a little faster than any late true devil stage cultivator, but he was definitely not as fast as a spirit demon expert. Even if he had already escaped for 20 breaths of time, he was still caught by the great elder in 10 breaths of time. What? You still want to run? After the spirit demon expert stopped Shaoling Yu, he didn't directly attack, but looked at him with a solemn face. I can't beat him. I can only run. I can't just stretch my neck and let him kill me, right? Shaoling Yu said with a wry smile. The last time you were able to enter the Eastern Pole Devil Cave, it should be his arrangement, right? The spirit demon expert asked. Yes. Shaoling Yu nodded. In order to inquire about my situation, the spirit demon expert asked again. When I went down, he didn't say anything to me. He only told me when I came back. Shaoling Yu replied truthfully. These things are no longer important. At least there is no point in hiding it. The great elder doesn't have to know. He is dead. Do you have any reason to let you go? The spirit demon expert asked with narrowed eyes. If he's dead, our agreement is over. It's meaningless for me to promise you anything or beg you anything. However, if we really fight, you might not be able to kill me even if you win, Shaoling Yu said calmly. I admit that I can't see through you, otherwise I wouldn't be here talking to you. But I don't think it will be difficult for me to kill you. I'm just curious. You are clearly a devil path cultivator. How can you use a divine attribute magic weapon without any hindrance? Moreover, your magical power seems to be much more advanced than ours. What kind of powerful technique do you cultivate? Also, how could you possess such a powerful strength when you just ascended? Don't tell me you ascended after 9 tribulations. You can't fool me. The spirit demon expert asked again and again. He seemed to have a lot of questions. It was precisely because of so many questions that the spirit demon expert didn't attack directly. These questions made the great elder ponder. Shaoling Yu naturally will not answer honestly, but said in a light tone, I didn't mean to be your enemy, and I believe you can see that I have enough strength to kill your son, but I just sealed him. I didn't want to hurt him. The spirit demon expert pondered for a moment and said, well, if you can take my attack, we will let this matter go, and you can continue to stay in East Pole Devil Sect in the future. Shaoling Yu is not a stupid person. He can guess the intention of the Great Elder's proposal. The Great Elder's attack will certainly not be weak. If he dies, then there is no need to think about anything else. If he withstands it, whether he withstands it easily or barely withstands it, the Great Elder will be able to understand his strength. The Great Elder also intends to keep him in East Pole Devil Sect. One is to retain talents, and the other is to monitor him. But even if he guessed this, Xiao Yu has no choice, and he also thinks that this seems to be the best choice of the moment. At least he can give the Great Elder a way out. Xiao Yu has to agree to the Great Elder's proposal, which may sound very generous, but he also has to easily withstand the Great Elder's attack, so that Xiao Yu can have a bigger say. Then please be merciful. Xiao Yu thought for a moment, then nodded and said, "Then let the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs hover over his head, not only casting the divine light to form a shield, but also bombarding the Great Elder's attack at any time. You have to be careful. My attack is a bit special. You can't resist it with only high-grade magic weapon and high-quality body." Although the Great Elder seems to remind Xiao Yu out of kindness, he didn't give Xiao Yu time to react. As soon as his words fell, he raised his arm again and slapped at Xiao Yu across the void. With just a single palm strike, palm shadows filled the sky and swarmed over from all directions. To Xiao Yu's surprise, those palm shadows seem illusory, but they can penetrate the Divine Light Shield and his Primal Chaos Light Shield and directly hit him. But the power of the palm shadows was weakened by the 2 light shields. Those palm shadows hit Xiao Yu's body, but only made him feel a slight pain. But there was also an invisible wave penetrating his body, shaking his dantian and sea of consciousness. With just one wave of shock, Xiao Yu's demon nascent soul trembled violently. His little face was pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood essence. At this time, Xiao Yu's soul also felt like it was hit by a hammer. If his soul was not hidden in the demon nascent soul and was already in the form of a golden bead, I'm afraid that it would collapse in an instant. If other true demon stage cultivators blocked such a palm shadow attack, it is estimated that their body, demon nascent soul, and soul would be annihilated at the same time. The invisible wave shook Xiao Yu's sea of consciousness, making Xiao Yu dizzy. However, after the iron piece hidden in his sea of consciousness was shocked, all the invisible waves that entered his sea of consciousness were instantly absorbed by the iron piece, and it could no longer affect his sea of consciousness. As for Xiao Yu's chaos demon nascent soul, when it was about to collapse, the gray-black bead automatically released a primal chaos light, protecting the chaos demon nascent soul. However, in the midst of the wave attack, the size of the bead was slowly decreasing. Although it protected Xiao Yu's chaos demon nascent soul, it also consumed a lot of energy. Fortunately, the palm shadows only lasted for a few breaths of time and stopped. Although Xiao Yu's face was pale and his blood was chaotic, he did not suffer too much substantial damage. After a few breaths of time, Xiao Yu has recovered. "Ha! Little brother is really a strange person. You can easily take this old man's most proud demon palm." The spirit demon stage master was a little surprised, but he seemed to not care about it and laughed. Chapter 270. Although the Eastern Demon Sect survived this disaster, their strength was also greatly damaged. Almost all the true demon stage experts were injured, and the Demon King stage disciples were directly reduced by half. However, at the last moment, the Grand Elder had turned the tide and slaughtered everyone. This greatly encouraged the cultivators of the East Pole Devil Sect's upper echelons. Xiao Yu and the Spirit Demon Stage expert had an agreement, so naturally, he would continue to stay in the Eastern Demon Sect. But his strength was completely exposed, so he naturally became a high-level figure of the Eastern Demon Sect. Most of the experts of the Eastern Demon Sect were in retreat to recuperate, so the Supreme Elder naturally had to stay in the sect to prevent others from taking advantage of the situation. Xiao Yu still stayed in the Valley of the Imperial Beast Hall every day, but he certainly didn't have to look at anyone's face, let alone take care of the cubs. Under the pretext of recuperating, he hid from the Spirit Demon Stage expert and meditated in the secret room. If he was tired or reached a bottleneck, he would take out some materials to refine the key that he couldn't refine in the Eastern Demon Cave. Although there was no iron box to open now, and Xiao Yu was not sure whether the key he refined could open the iron box, But as long as he refined according to the method in the Jade Slip, his refining level would continue to improve. The comprehension of the demon curse technique was also necessary. As long as the high-level demon curse technique was completely reorganized and understood thoroughly, Shaolin Yu's strength would definitely multiply. Although he was still in the Eastern Demon sect, Shaolin Yu was not planted with any soul restriction, so he could leave at any time, but there was no good place to go at the moment, and the Heavenly Bandits couldn't travel far, so he chose to continue to stay. Zhu Jin hadn't sent a message for a long time, and Shaolin Yu was not very worried about the situation of the Heavenly Bandits. After half a year, Shaolin Yu's communication bead trembled. The message was still not from Zhu Jin, but from the bounty hunter branch in the Blood Moon continent, saying that a bounty hunter had collected a material he needed, and the branch had also paid the reward, asking Shaolin Yu if he would go to the branch to get it. Shaolin Yu naturally wouldn't go over. She just asked the branch to keep it for her and would retrieve it in the future. The Blood Moon continent covered a large area and was rich in resources. The materials that Shaolin Yu needed were just a little special, but not high-grade rare goods. As long as he could pay enough money, it would not take long for all the materials he needed to appear in the Blood Moon City's bounty hunter branch. As long as all the materials were prepared, Shaolin Yu would be able to break through to the chaotic void refining stage. If he succeeded, his power and soul realm would soar greatly. By then, he wouldn't be afraid of cultivators in the early or middle stage of spirit demon realm. Although it was urgent, collecting materials was not something that could be rushed. He could leave it to the bounty hunters to slowly search for them. Even if he did it himself, he might not be able to speed up the process. Although Shaolin Yu didn't want to worry too much about the Heavenly Bandits, he didn't wait for a year before Zhu Jin sent him a message. The message said that after a period of investigation, Zhu Jin could confirm that the Chepo sect was indeed the backer of the Blood Soul sect. Moreover, the Meng family's experts had tracked the Heavenly Bandits to the vicinity of the Blood Soul sect, but they didn't dare to act rashly. However, the Heavenly Bandits also didn't dare to act rashly. These were not the key points. The reason for this message was that Zhu Jin and the others had found an opportunity to stir up the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family. Zhu Jin wanted to ask if they could start the operation and make the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family conflict. Shaolin Yu hesitated for a moment before replying to the message, telling Zhu Jin and the others that they could do it boldly, but they must plan it carefully. What Old Man Li said last time made it difficult for Shaolin Yu to feel relieved. The Meng family was not as simple as he imagined. If Zhu Jin and the others' plan was slightly negligent, not only would they not be able to provoke the two tigers to fight, but they would also be very likely to be attacked from both sides and die without a burial place. Perhaps he was a little worried about the situation of the Heavenly Bandits. Shaolin Yu couldn't enter the best state during his recent closed-door training. Therefore, he came out and wandered around the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall. In the valley, only Miao Yen was feeding the cubs. Although he was very busy, he didn't dare to complain. Now that he saw Shaolin Yu again, he kept his head down and didn't dare to look at him. Shaolin Yu didn't make things difficult for Miao Yen because the two of them weren't on the same level. If he deliberately wanted to bicker with him, this Miao Yen would have died many times over. As for Wang Tai and Hao Run, they were both in closed-door training, trying to stabilize their early Earth Demon realm. The hunchbacked old man was very tactful. Seeing Shaolin Yu wandering around the valley, he didn't come over to disturb him. After walking around a few times, Shaolin Yu might have felt bored, or his mood might have calmed down a lot. So he turned around and returned to his room. "Brother Shao, have you recovered from your injuries?" Before he reached the door, Shaolin Yu heard someone greeting him from behind. Turning around, he saw the demon sect's supreme elder walking over with a smile. "Ah, I've just recovered from my injuries. Thank you for your concern, Supreme Elder." Shaolin Yu cupped his fists and smiled. "It's good that you've recovered. Right now, the sect's true demon experts are all recovering from their injuries. I'm in charge of the demon sect from top to bottom, so I'm very busy. Now that you're fine, come out and help me." Supreme Elder walked into the room and said as he sat down. In fact, in the past, those true demon experts didn't care much about the sect's affairs. The East Pole Demon Sect has existed for many years, so there are systematic rules to restrict the disciples. There's no need to worry too much. Xiaoling Yu also sat down and said, AI, Brother Xiao likes to speak frankly. Then I won't beat around the bush. This old man naturally won't ask Brother Xiao for help with the trivial matters of the sect, but there is a big matter right now. I need to trouble Brother Xiao to leave the valley and come with this old man. Supreme Elder sighed. This Xiao is also a member of the East Pole Demon Sect. This Xiao is duty-bound to help the sect. Xiaoling Yu said seriously. In any case, the person who came was the most authoritative person in the East Pole Demon Sect. His strength was also stronger than Xiaoling Yu. He must give some face to the person who came. Haha. In fact, I won't let Brother Xiao work for nothing. The place we are going to, Brother Xiao has also been there. It's the most important place of my East Pole Demon Sect. East Pole Demon Cave. Supreme Elder smiled and said. Subsequently, the two left the Imperial Beast Hall Valley and walked to the East Pole Demon Palace on the island in the center of the Demon Sect. In the side hall, the slate that was split open by the Great Elder was replaced with a new one. However, the slate that required several true demon stage masters to cast at the same time could be easily moved by the Great Elder alone. Under the slate, it was still a dark world, but with Supreme Elder, a spirit demon expert, there was no need for candles to light the way. On the way, Supreme Elder had already said that there was only one task in entering the East Pole Demon Cave, and that was to open a treasure box. The Grand Elder had been eyeing that treasure box for a long time. In the Devil's Den where the treasure box was located, a powerful demonic beast at the early spirit demon stage was guarding it. If he went there alone, he would not be able to defeat or kill that demonic beast. However, the jade slip that recorded how to refine the key to open the treasure box had already been swallowed by that demonic beast. Only by killing that demonic beast could he open the treasure box. Supreme Elder didn't dare to come out because of the devil fetus, so he couldn't come out to ask for help. In fact, even if he could come out, he didn't know who to ask for help. Besides himself, who else in the East Pole Demon Sect can deal with a spirit demon stage magical beast? The last time he met Xiaoling Yu, Supreme Elder deliberately asked Xiaoling Yu to stay because he wanted to act with Xiaoling Yu. Xiaoling Yu is definitely the second strongest expert in the East Pole Demon Sect. He is invincible under the spirit demon stage. With his help, Supreme Elder thinks that this matter can be done. Moreover, Supreme Elder can deal with the spirit demon stage magical beast alone, and with Xiaoling Yu, even if they can't succeed, there won't be any damage. Xiaoling Yu naturally wouldn't fully believe the old man's words, but the other party had invited him with great hospitality and spoke with great confidence. There was no reason for him not to come and take a look. Before he came, the Supreme Elder had also promised that regardless of whether this operation was successful or not, he would give Xiaoling Yu 2 high-grade magic weapons. Xiaoling Yu didn't have much desire for high-grade magic tools, so he added an extra condition. That is, he asked Supreme Elder to teach him the soul-rending demon palm. Supreme Elder hesitated for a while, but finally agreed. It was because of this that Xiaoling Yu was really determined to come in and help. Soul-rending demon palm is a very clever palm technique. It was not left by the senior experts of the East Pole Demon Sect, but it was one of the many treasure boxes that Supreme Elder opened in the East Pole Demon Cave. Xiaoling Yu has personally experienced its power. Under the guidance of the Supreme Elder, it only took an hour for the two of them to arrive at a red demonic cave. The true demon stage magical beast in this red light cave has already been killed by Supreme Elder. The two went all the way to the end of the cave and saw a cave. In the cave, there was a faint purple light. Falling into the cave, there was no stone slab blocking the way, and the two soon came to a shining purple cave. However, this purple cave was different. There was no entrance to the cave below, and there was only a stone table at the end. And on the stone table, there was a locked black iron box. That demonic beast is in a cave up ahead. It is an armored velociraptor that has cultivated for about 3 million years. It has the bloodline of a superior immortal beast. It has 2 characteristics. One is that it is extremely fast, slightly faster than me. The other is that its scales are extremely tough, close to a top-grade demonic artifact. However, this place wasn't very spacious, so its advantage in speed wasn't obvious. Furthermore, its sturdy scales weren't impenetrable. However, if we want to kill it with a small price, we still need to rely on the power of Brother Zhao's 6 sacred beads. Chapter 271. Shaoling Yu and the Grand Elder slowly walked through the demon's den that was shimmering with purple light. After the time it took to brew a cup of tea, they finally arrived at their target location. This was a rather large cave. The uneven walls were inlaid with countless sparkling beads, making them feel a little dazzling. However, there was no trace of the armored swift dragon in the cave. It should have gone out to look for food. Let's go ahead and wait for it. The Grand Elder did not seem surprised. He led Shaoling Yu through the cave and continued forward. When they were only a few hundred feet away from the cave, the Grand Elder stopped and said, "It's not in the cave, so it can save us some effort to lure it out of the cave. If we fight it in a less spacious place, our chances of winning will be higher." Shaoling Yu said, "The two of us will block this side. If it turns around and runs away, what can we do?" The Grand Elder smiled and said, "When the time comes, I will be in charge of fighting it head-on. You will wait for an opportunity to circle behind it. This way, it will have nowhere to run. At the beginning of the fight, it will definitely not run away. After all, it was always the one who beat me away in the past. If it sees me again, I will definitely not be afraid. If it attacks me with all its strength, I may not be able to stop it," Shaoling Yu said calmly. "You don't have to stop it. Just don't let it speed up and run away. This demon's den is very long. We have enough time to kill it," the Grand Elder said casually. "If that's the case, it won't be able to charge out for a long time. The pressure on my side will definitely be very great. If it uses its innate ability on me again." Shaoling Yu paused and frowned. "Brother Shao, don't be too humble. With your strength, even if you can't defeat it, you will definitely be able to delay it for a while. There is absolutely no risk. Besides, there are 2 exits to escape from this demon's den. We can only block 1 exit each." After the Supreme Elder explained, he added, "If Brother Shao really feels that it is too dangerous, just do your best to protect yourself. We definitely cannot risk our lives for the sake of opening a treasure box." Shaoling Yu could only nod her head silently. However, she thought to herself, "Old man, you didn't have a perfect plan when you asked me to help. You just wanted to use me as a shield. No matter how nice your words are, don't expect me to take the hit when I can't win." After settling on a plan, the two of them waited quietly for nearly a month before the armored velociraptor returned. The armored velociraptor had 2 strong legs, a dragon head, a snake tail, and scales all over its body. However, it wasn't as long as the dragon's body. It was only 10 meters tall. It seemed to have sensed that someone had invaded its territory and rushed over at an extremely fast speed. Shaoling Yu and Shaoling Yu's expressions turned grave as they felt the tremors all around them and gusts of wind surging towards them. When the armored velociraptor arrived in front of them, the Supreme Elder let out a loud shout and suddenly stretched out his arm, sending an energy palm towards it. The armored velociraptor wasn't afraid in the slightest. A halo of light flashed from its body and pierced through the energy palm like a sharp sword. Although its speed was reduced, its momentum was even more ferocious. The Supreme Elder let out another shout and sent out a devil talisman. The devil talisman exploded in front of the armored velociraptor's eyes, and then a white mist spread out in all directions. The white mist completely obscured vision, but it couldn't deceive the thoughts of cultivators or demonic beasts. However, the armored velociraptor didn't expect the other party to use such a useless move when rushing over, so it didn't fully release its thoughts just now. Naturally, it was half a beat slower when releasing its thoughts now. The Supreme Elder took advantage of this opportunity to ruthlessly stab the armored velociraptor's head with a devil sword, causing a few cracks to appear on one of its scales. Shaoling Yu followed the previous plan and quickly flew past the armored velociraptor when it wasn't paying attention. When the white mist dispersed, Shaolin Yu and the Supreme Elder had already formed a pincer attack on the armored velociraptor from the front and back. Just as the Supreme Elder said, even if there were enemies in front and behind, the armored velociraptor wasn't afraid in the slightest. It roared angrily and rushed forward like an arrow released from a bow, spitting out black dragon breath from its mouth. The Supreme Elder didn't say anything. He first sent out a palm strike to disperse the dragon breath. Then the devil sword in his hand suddenly expanded and slashed down at the armored velociraptor's head. Shaolin Yu didn't make a move. According to the plan, he was only responsible for intercepting and supporting from the side. He wasn't responsible for the main attack. The armored velociraptor blocked the Supreme Elder's devil sword and rushed forward without slowing down. When the devil sword arrived above the armored velociraptor's head, it couldn't go any further, but it still managed to shatter a piece of its scales. The armored velociraptor's ferocious charge also smashed through the Grand Elder's defensive barrier, causing him to move several meters back. "Brother Shao, let's attack together," the Supreme Elder shouted loudly, then sent out another palm strike. Countless palm shadows swarmed forward, while the devil sword in his hand pierced towards the shattered scales on the armored velociraptor's head. The armored velociraptor had already experienced the power of the demonic soul-rending palm, so it immediately stopped. The devil light on its body surged, and its tail rapidly swept around its body. Most of the palm shadows were scattered, but the scattered palm shadows were still very powerful when they hit the armored velociraptor's body. After enduring a wave, the armored velociraptor felt waves of pain. However, the armored velociraptor recovered after a short while. Dragon breath continued to spit out, almost filling up the nearby demon caverns. The devil sword passed through the pitch-black dragon breath, but it didn't hit its target. It was blocked by the armored velociraptor's dragon horn. The quality of the armored velociraptor's dragon horn was much higher than the scales on its body. Before the Supreme Elder could withdraw his devil sword, the armored velociraptor's head suddenly rose, and an invisible force lifted the Supreme Elder up. The armored velociraptor's tail swept fiercely at the defensive barrier that the Supreme Elder had just set up. With a bang, the Supreme Elder's defensive barrier was shattered, and his body slammed into the wall, blood flowing from his mouth. Seeing this, Shaolin Yu sent a primal chaos eel at the armored velociraptor. The armored velociraptor originally wanted to continue chasing the Supreme Elder, but it felt a dangerous aura coming from behind it, so it withdrew its tail and swept it towards the primal chaos seal. Roar! The armored velociraptor let out a painful howl. After being attacked by the mutated primal chaos seal, the scales on its tail were shattered and blood spurted out. The primal chaos seal was different from the demonic soul-rending palm. It focused on physical attacks, and although it was a strong threat to the surface, it wouldn't invade the opponent's body. The armored velociraptor couldn't determine the power of the primal chaos seal at that moment, and it felt that Shaolin Yu's aura hadn't reached the spirit demon stage, so it chose to face the primal chaos seal head-on. The Supreme Elder stabilized his body at this time, and seeing that Shaolin Yu's attack was effective, he rushed over with his devil sword. In any case, the armored velociraptor felt that the Supreme Elder was a bigger threat, and the Supreme Elder had disturbed it too many times, so it was more willing to kill the Supreme Elder than Shaolin Yu, who had just injured it. The armored velociraptor no longer spewed out dragon breath, but instead it spewed out pitch-black balls and locked on to the Supreme Elder. The Supreme Elder didn't dare to face those balls head-on, because the balls were formed by the armored velociraptor's profound chi, and their attack was very overbearing, so it could only temporarily give up on attacking and use its devil sword and devil palm to disperse the cannonball-like balls. However, it was impossible for the armored velociraptor to allow the enemy behind it to bombard it with seals. Its long tail constantly whipped towards Shaolin Yu, and waves of violent demonic chi danced along with it, causing Shaolin Yu to only be able to continuously dodge and defend, unable to form the primal chaos seal. It's just that with this distraction, the armored velociraptor couldn't beat the Supreme Elder like before and gradually fell into a disadvantage. After fighting like this for a while, the armored velociraptor finally realized that the situation was unfavorable to it. If it continued to fight like this, its condition would deteriorate, and it would die here. After all, the Supreme Elder's demonic soul, rending palm, had always been very painful to it. Therefore, after the armored velociraptor forced the Supreme Elder to retreat with all its might, it suddenly turned around and rushed towards Shaolin Yu, who it thought was weaker. Shaolin Yu, on the other hand, kept to their previous agreement, fighting and retreating, but it didn't allow the armored velociraptor to increase its speed, and it really attacked fiercely. Although the armored velociraptor tried its best to escape from this devil's den, it was just too long. Under the situation where it couldn't increase its speed, it could only continue to exhaust its strength, and its condition became worse and worse. Perhaps it felt that its life was threatened, or perhaps it felt that it couldn't escape at all, but the armored velociraptor stopped. Then, its body began to flash with black light, and an incomparably powerful aura surged out. Just the aura alone made it impossible for Shaolin Yu to get close. Even if it attacked with the Primal Chaos Seal, it would only explode at the edge, and its power would be reduced by more than half. Innate ability? Shaolin Yu was shocked. Without thinking, she turned around and ran at full speed. They had previously agreed that once the armored velociraptor activated its innate ability, the two of them would immediately escape. In any case, the armored velociraptor's innate ability couldn't be maintained forever. Once the armored velociraptor's innate ability disappeared, the two of them could easily finish it off. Seeing the two of them running away, the armored velociraptor's aura surged wildly as it chased after Shaolin Yu. Running at full speed, the armored velociraptor seemed to see hope of escaping. But what made it helpless was that when it was still 100,000 feet away from the entrance of the Devil's Den, its innate ability began to erupt. Although its speed had been greatly increased, and its attack power had been greatly strengthened, it knew that its innate ability couldn't be maintained for long. Even if it died, since its innate ability had been activated, it had to at least kill one of the opponents. Chapter 272. Shaolin Yu could also guess what the armored velociraptor was thinking. Naturally, he wanted to run as fast as he could. The spirit demon stage was not something that Shaolin Yu could deal with. Furthermore, the armored velociraptor had the bloodline of a superior immortal beast to activate its innate ability. No matter how confident Shaolin Yu was, he did not dare to face it head-on. Fortunately, the Devil's Cave was full of twists and turns, and some places were relatively narrow. This caused the armored velociraptor to occasionally slow down, and it was unable to catch up to Shaolin Yu, who was running for his life. The armored velociraptor's innate ability naturally had a time limit. After chasing Shaolin Yu for 20 breaths of time, the armored velociraptor had no choice but to release its innate ability. Otherwise, not only would it not be able to release it successfully, it would also very likely self-destruct. Roar! The armored velociraptor that was originally running wildly suddenly stopped and let out a dragon's roar. Then, round balls that seemed to be cast from black iron shot out from its mouth and flew rapidly toward Shaolin Yu's back. Although there was a considerable distance between Shaolin Yu and the armored velociraptor, and Shaolin Yu was still running at full speed, the round balls were still constantly closing the distance between him and the armored velociraptor. The terrifying energy that came from those round balls made Shaolin Yu shudder. He felt that if any one of those round balls hit him, it would take his little life, let alone several of them in a line. Shaolin Yu ran wildly for a few more breaths of time. He knew that he could not completely avoid those round balls, so he had the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs form a line behind him. Rumbling sounds of explosions continued to surge in the purple light Devil's Cave. The entire Devil's Cave trembled violently. Waves of violent power attacked from behind. Although it increased Shaolin Yu's speed, It also instantly broke through his primal chaos light barrier and acted on his body. A burning pain came from his back. At this moment, the bones in his body cracked and cracked. Even the chaos demon nascent soul in his dantian suffered a great impact. Thankfully, the pearl within the chaos nascent soul's body once again released chaotic light to protect the chaos nascent soul, preventing it from collapsing. However, after all 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs were blown away, there was still a black ball that chased after them. Furthermore, its speed and power did not seem to have decreased by much, and it firmly locked onto Xiaoling Yu. Feeling helpless, Xiaoling Yu abruptly turned around. Brandishing his silver moon-broken blade, he hacked at the black ball. Under the sharpness of the divine artifact, the black bead was directly split into 2. Perhaps because it was too fast, the 2 semicircles of the black bead brushed past Xiaoling Yu's shoulder the moment it was split apart. They flew several meters away before exploding in different directions. Even though it had been split open and exploded a few feet behind her, the power was still very strong. Of course, it was also because of these 2 points that Xiaoling Yu was able to endure even though her injuries had worsened. First, she recalled the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs. Then, Xiaoling Yu immediately fed herself a few medicinal pills and began to silently recuperate while staring ahead. After the armored velociraptor activated its innate ability, it was only extremely weak, but it was definitely not on the verge of death. When it caught up and saw that Xiaoling Yu was still standing in front despite her sorry state, it was incomparably shocked, and at the same time, truly despaired. It was also at this moment that the Eastern Pole Demon Sect's Supreme Elder finally caught up. When he saw Xiaoling Yu, he was stunned and seemed to be surprised. It was unknown whether he was surprised by Xiaoling Yu's sorry state or was surprised that Xiaoling Yu was able to survive the attack of the armored velociraptor's innate ability. However, after being stunned for a moment, seeing that the armored velociraptor was about to pounce on Xiaoling Yu, the Supreme Elder hesitated for a moment before once again striking the armored velociraptor with the demonic soul rending palm. This time, the extremely weak armored velociraptor was unable to withstand the demonic soul rending palm. After the tidal wave of palm attacks, its huge body fell to the ground with a loud bang. Its 4 limbs twitched a few times before its vitality was cut off, and its demon infant and soul were scattered on the spot. The Supreme Elder slowly walked to the side of the armored velociraptor's corpse and carefully examined it again. After confirming that the magical beast was thoroughly dead, he cut open its belly with the demon's sword and took out a palm-sized jade slip. "Its corpse is mine." Xiaoling Yu suppressed the injuries in her body and said calmly. The Supreme Elder looked at Xiaoling Yu and nodded. "Its scales and bones are of extremely high quality, especially its dragon horn. It can be considered a top-grade material. You can refine it into a defensive magic artifact." Xiaoling Yu didn't respond. With a thought, she put the armored velociraptor's corpse into a storage magic artifact and sealed it away. "How are your injuries?" The Supreme Elder asked in a seemingly concerned manner. "They're neither light nor heavy. I estimate that I'll need to recuperate for a period of time." Xiaoling Yu vaguely replied. Although his complexion was bleak, because the chaotic demon infant hadn't suffered too much of a blow, it was still able to keep his aura in check. The Supreme Elder frowned and muttered to himself for a moment before saying, "Recuperate first. I'll take a look at the key." Xiaoling Yu nodded and then sat cross-legged on the spot. His injuries couldn't be considered very heavy, but they were definitely not light. At the very least, they were much heavier than the injuries he suffered when dealing with the 9-tailed demon fox. However, the quality of Xiaoling Yu's body was very high. Even if he was heavily injured, it wasn't something that ordinary cultivators could see. The refining method of the key to the treasure box seemed to be more difficult to figure out. The Supreme Elder spent a full half a year to refine one, but he failed to unlock it. The Supreme Elder continued to refine, and Xiaoling Yu was happy to have more time to recuperate. Another 2 years passed, and Xiaoling Yu's injuries had already stabilized. The Supreme Elder failed nearly 10 times before he opened the treasure box as he wished. When he opened the treasure box, a jade bottle slowly floated out. Inside the jade bottle was a dark red elixir. The strange thing was that although the elixir looked like a bead, there were dragon patterns on its surface. Moreover, if one looked closely, they would discover that the dragon patterns were slowly moving. Coiling dragon elixir? Xiao Yu and the Supreme Elder exclaimed at the same time, their faces filled with astonishment. The Supreme Elder opened the bottle again. When he heard the faint roar of a dragon coming from the jade bottle, he laughed and said, "It really is a coiling dragon elixir, and it's a supreme grade one. Congratulations to the Supreme Elder for obtaining this divine elixir. In the future, after consuming it, your cultivation will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. Advancing to the mystical demon realm is just around the corner." Xiao Yu quickly looked away and then cupped his fist to congratulate him, as if to prove that he wasn't greedy. It can't be considered a divine pill, but the coiling dragon pill is originally very difficult to refine, and this is a top-quality one, so its value is even more extraordinary. Even if a mysterious demon or demon monarch level expert sees it, I'm afraid they would be envious. The Supreme Elder said with a smile, and then carefully put it away. Xiao Yu knew a little about the coiling dragon elixir. Moreover, when he was in the cultivation world, his sworn brother, Gu Yunfei, had even collected all the materials needed to refine the coiling dragon elixir. It was just that he didn't find an alchemy expert to help him refine it. Xiao Yu might not value an ordinary coiling dragon elixir too much, but a supreme-grade coiling dragon elixir was also very useful to Xiao Yu. If he could obtain one and consume it when breaking through to the chaotic void refinement stage, it would at least increase his chances of successfully breaking through to the chaotic void refinement stage by 20%. However, Xiao Yu was only here to help, and the Supreme Elder would also reward him. He had just asked for the corpse of the armored swift dragon, so he naturally couldn't be greedy for this coiling dragon elixir. The Supreme Elder wasn't someone that the current Xiao Yu could easily provoke. Now that this matter is over, shouldn't we go out? Having been delayed here for more than 2 years, Xiao Yu didn't want to stay in this dangerous place any longer. However, Xiao Yu regarded the East Extreme Devil Cavern even more highly. Even a supreme-grade item like the Coiling Dragon Elixir could appear here, so the treasures collected in the East Extreme Devil Cavern were definitely very impressive. After all, there wasn't just one purple light devil cavern here, and there might even be higher-level devil caverns. This old man still wants to stay here for a while and try my luck in the red light devil cavern above. The Supreme Elder smiled and replied. Then, he said, "All right, your injuries haven't healed yet. If you go out by yourself, it might be dangerous. Moreover, it's not easy for you to open the exit. Let me send you on your way." With this old man escorting him, Xiao Yu felt much safer and naturally wouldn't refuse. The two of them went back and forth all the way, and it only took them a few hours to reach the exit. It was pitch black above their heads. The stone slab of the East Extreme Devil Cavern side hall had already returned to its original position when the two of them came down. The Supreme Elder moved the stone slab away very easily, and a bright light appeared above their heads. Since the Supreme Elder wants to stay here, then the cultivation technique of the demonic infant palm should be, there's no hurry. Once I get out of here, I'll look for you. Without waiting for Xiao Yu to finish speaking, the Supreme Elder smiled and continued. Xiao Yu only frowned, but he didn't say anything. He immediately leaped up and flew into the side hall. When the stone slab blocked the entrance of the East Extreme Devil Cavern again, the corner of Xiao Yu's mouth twitched a few times. He turned around and walked out of the Devil Cavern while cursing in his heart. This old man is really shameless. He actually wants to go back on his words. In order to help him, I almost lost my life, but he actually didn't fulfill his promise after the fact. Although he was very angry, he was not the opponent of the old man, and he was also injured. Secondly, the old man didn't say that he wouldn't fulfill his promise, so he could only accept it helplessly. In any case, at least he got the corpse of an upper-level spirit demon stage magical beast, and this corpse will be of great use to Xiao Yu. So far, this trip is not without harvest. Less than 3 days after returning to the Imperial Beast Hall, Xiao Yu received a message from Zhu Jin, saying that under their plot, the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family had a conflict. Although the two sides didn't fight on a large scale, they were already at daggers drawn. You have also been near the Blood Soul sect for a long time. Didn't the Blood Soul sect find you? Xiao Yu asked. Chapter 273. Zhu Jin and the others were not 3-year-old children. Since they dared to provoke 2 tigers to fight, they would certainly be careful. After Xiao Yu reminded them a few words, he did not intend to be long-winded anymore. Xiao Yu was not in the Heavenly Bandits and did not understand their situation very well. In fact, there was no need to command them. The Heavenly Bandits could not always rely on Xiao Yu to grow. They must have the ability and preparation to solve problems on their own. After quietly recuperating for a while, Xiao Yu cut off the scales and dragon horns of the armored velociraptor with a silver moon broken blade. Then, he moved the body into the spirit beast bag where the strange cub was. The strange cub quickly swallowed the body of the armored velociraptor and then directly fell into a deep sleep. After all, the armored velociraptor was at the spirit demon stage. Even if the demon infant had collapsed, the energy contained in its body was definitely much richer than any true demon stage cultivator. However, this time, the strange cub only took 2 years to wake up. After waking up, the strange cub's aura had reached the late true demon stage. However, not long after, its body once again shone with chaotic light, and it held its stomach and cried out in pain. With the previous experience, Xiao Yu was not too anxious this time. After waiting for a cup of tea's time, another round bead was spat out by the strange cub. It also sent the round bead to Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu knew that this round bead was a good thing. It could automatically protect the chaotic demon infant. Naturally, he accepted it and swallowed it into his stomach. However, the strange cub's cultivation had advanced another step. It directly reached the early true demon stage. Moreover, whether it was the cultivation realm or the soul realm, it was very stable. It did not have the emptiness after forcibly increasing its strength. In this way, Xiao Yu could be considered to have figured out the strange cub's advancement path. As for the young demon fox with 6 tails, it seemed to have not come out of the pain of losing its family. It had been very quietly staying in the spirit beast bag. It did not cultivate or make a sound. Xiao Yu didn't know how to nurture this demon fox. She would only occasionally take a look at it and replenish some food that could slowly increase her power. What made Xiao Yu depressed was that the East Pole Demon Sect's Grand Elder still hadn't come out of the East Pole Demon Cave. He had promised to give Xiao Yu the soul-rending demonic palm, but she didn't know when he would be able to fulfill it. Xiao Yu could tell that the demonic soul-severing palm was the Grand Supreme Elder's most prized move. It would not be easily taught to outsiders unless the Grand Supreme Elder had a stronger move or a way to break the demonic soul-severing palm. Of course, there was also the possibility that the Grand Elder had consumed the coiling dragon pill in the Eastern Devil Cave to increase his strength. Currently, the East Pole Demon Sect was still very quiet. Those true demon experts were still in seclusion, recuperating from their injuries. The affairs of the East Pole Demon Sect were, in fact, in the hands of the stewards of the various halls. Another year and a half passed. Xiao Yu's injuries had already recovered by 80%. He felt that if he continued to recuperate in seclusion, it would be very difficult for him to completely recover without the help of a top-grade demon pill. Therefore, he walked out of the Imperial Beast Hall and went to the East Pole Demon Sect storehouse. The storehouse's steward was a late-stage Demon King disciple. Due to his special duties, he did not leave the encampment during the last incident. Therefore, he was not injured in the slightest. Martial Uncle Xiao, how come you have time to come to the storehouse today? The storehouse's steward saw Xiao Yu and asked respectfully. I came to look for a few materials that are useful for recuperating. Xiao Yu replied with a smile. For an expert like Martial Uncle Xiao, You will need at least top-grade materials to recuperate. However, the sect has a rule that if you want to use the top-grade materials or treasures in the storehouse, you will need the sect master's permission. I wonder if Martial Uncle Xiao has the sect master's order? The storehouse's steward asked dutifully. Senior brother sect master is still in seclusion. It is not good for me to disturb him. However, the Grand Elder did tell me that if I need anything, I can go to the storehouse to get it. I wonder if the Grand Elder's words are worth the sect master's order? Xiao Lingyu said calmly. Hearing Xiao Lingyu's words, the storehouse's steward hesitated for a moment. Then, he said, since the Grand Elder has said so, this disciple will naturally obey. Martial Uncle Xiao, please follow me. Xiao Lingyu's strength was exposed, and then he was asked to stay. In fact, all the experts in the East Pole Demon Sect knew that it was the Grand Elder's idea. In other words, at least on the surface, Xiao Lingyu was a very important person to the Grand Elder. Besides, even if Xiao Lingyu had nothing to do with the Grand Elder, with his strength of true demon stage, he was not someone the storehouse's steward could offend. In fact, there were not many good things in the storehouse of the East Pole Demon Sect. Other true demon stage experts often came to take things without consulting the sect master. The sect master had always turned a blind eye to this. As for the fake decree of the Grand Elder, Xiao Lingyu did not have any psychological burden. Even if the old man came out, the storehouse's steward would not ask. Even if he asked, the old man would probably give Xiao Lingyu some face. There were a lot of high-grade materials in the East Pole Demon Sect storehouse, but there were not many that were suitable for healing the body. Xiao Lingyu just picked a few things from among them and then left the treasure room. Xiao Lingyu did not leave the storehouse immediately. Instead, after pondering for a while, he made a list of materials and said to the storehouse's steward, "There are a few high-grade materials here that are not very rare. I'll have to trouble you to go outside and collect them for me." The storehouse's steward took the list. After glancing at it, he frowned slightly. Without waiting for the storehouse's steward to speak, Xiao Lingyu threw a storage bag on the table and said, "I naturally won't let you or the sect take out magic stones to help me collect things. There are some magic stones here. It should be enough to collect all these materials." After the storehouse's steward scanned the storage bag with his magic sense, his face relaxed and said, "Martial Uncle Xiao, these magic stones are not only enough, but there seems to be more. Hee, as long as you collect everything, the remaining magic stones will be your reward for your help." Xiao Lingyu said with a generous smile. "How can this be? How can this disciple accept Martial Uncle's reward? It's the storehouse's duty to collect materials for the sect." The storehouse's steward hurriedly refused. Xiao Lingyu had already walked to the storehouse's door. He waved his hand and said, "After you collect the things, just come to the Imperial Beast Hall and find me." Just as Xiao Lingyu stepped out of the storehouse, his communication pearl in his storage bag vibrated. The message was sent by the Bounty Hunter branch in Blood Moon City. It said that 2 more mission materials had been sent to the branch. Xiao Lingyu was in a good mood. He replied to the branch to keep it for him. Just as he arrived at the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall, before he reached his room, his communication pearl vibrated again. This time, the message was sent by Zhu Jin. It said that the Meng family had arranged a large number of Meng family experts near the Blood Soul sect. It was estimated that they were going to have a big fight with the Blood Soul sect. "I think this matter is going a bit too smoothly," Xiao Lingyu replied. "They are not convinced of each other's strength. Moreover, the Meng family's strength is obviously higher than the Blood Soul sect. It is reasonable for them to want to go to war. After all, the Meng family knows that I am very useful to them." Zhu Jin explained. "Did the Chepo sect send people?" Xiao Lingyu asked. "I don't know about this, but looking at the Blood Soul sect's fearless appearance, they must have something to rely on." Zhu Jin replied. "Anyway, we have already come to this point. We don't have any good choice. You guys be careful. As long as you get the news that they're going to fight, immediately disperse and retreat. Wait for them to finish the fight and then regroup." Xiao Lingyu was not at ease. 3 months later, the East Pole Demon Sect storehouse found the Imperial Beast Hall and handed over all the materials that Xiao Lingyu wanted. Some of these materials seemed to be of average quality. Xiao Yu seemed a little dissatisfied. Martial Uncle Xiao may not know, but we usually go to the Meng family store in Mengdai City to purchase such high-grade materials. But recently, the Meng family store in Mengdai City has been closed, and the high-grade materials business has always been dominated by the Meng family. The other stores don't have many good goods. I don't know when a Meng family store will open again. I'm afraid that Martial Uncle Xiao will be anxious, so the storehouse manager explained with a guilty conscience. It doesn't matter as long as it is ready. Xiao Yu waved his hand generously and then asked curiously, "Do you know why the Meng family closed their store in Mengdai City?" The storehouse manager shook his head and said, "This disciple has inquired about this matter. It is said that the Meng family wants to attack the Blood Soul sect, so they temporarily close their stores. They want to concentrate their forces to destroy the Blood Soul sect. This matter has already caused an uproar in Mengdai City. Since it's such a big matter, the Meng family shouldn't have made such a big fuss." Xiao Yu first said to himself, and then asked, "Our devil sect should also have people who specialize in collecting information, right?" "Yes. Our sect's Foreign Affairs Hall has a section responsible for collecting information about the nearby cultivation world. However, that section is directly under the sect master's jurisdiction. Except for the sect master, no one has the right to mobilize or ask about their affairs. Of course, the Great Elder is not subject to this restriction," the storehouse manager replied. After sending away the storehouse manager, Xiao Yu's complexion sank. He felt that the Meng family was so high profile. They were either really preparing to go all out or bluffing. If it was just for Zhu Jin, who was hiding in the Heavenly Bandits, the Meng family didn't seem to need to put in so much effort. They could negotiate with the Blood Soul sect. Presumably, the Blood Soul sect wouldn't fight with the Meng family for a bandit group. After all, the Meng family's strength was far beyond that of the Blood Soul sect. At this time, the hunchbacked old man happened to pass by. When he saw Xiao Yu's expression was not right, he braced himself and asked, "How is your relationship with the steward in charge of collecting information in the sect?" Xiao Yu asked after returning to his senses. "Our relationship is good. He and I are both stewards personally appointed by the sect master. We trust each other," the hunchbacked old man replied. "Then help me inquire about something. It's about some unknown inside stories and secrets about the bloody battle between the Meng family and the Blood Soul sect." Xiao Yu said, No problem. As long as it doesn't involve the secrets of our sect, he should be able to disclose some to me." Chapter 274. The next day, the hunchbacked old man came to Xiao Yu's room and talked for half an hour before leaving. It seems that there really is a problem, but the problem is not with the Heavenly Bandits. After the hunchbacked old man left, Xiao Yu touched his chin and muttered to himself. In fact, the Meng family had long wanted to destroy the Blood Soul sect. After all, within 1,000,000 miles of Menjing City, the Meng family was the most powerful existence. Almost no one or any sect dared to not give them face. Only the Blood Soul sect relied on the Chepo sect support. Not only did they not fear the Meng family, but they even sometimes challenged them. However, the Meng family was indeed afraid of the Chepo sect's strength, so they tolerated the Blood Soul sect for many years. But now, the Blood Soul sect was making things difficult for the Meng family regarding the Heavenly Bandits. This gave the Meng family a very legitimate reason to attack the Blood Soul sect. From the information collected by the intelligence personnel of the East Pole Demon sect, the Meng family dared to attack this time mostly because of their backer. The Meng family's backer was also relatively strong. At least, they were not afraid of the Chepo sect. Xiao Yu and the intelligence personnel of the East Pole Demon sect could speculate that the confrontation between the Meng family and the Blood Soul sect would become a fuse that would trigger a large-scale battle. When the situation expanded, the Chepo sect and the other first-rate sects of the Blood Moon continent would definitely be involved. After all, the East Pole Demon sect was just a third-rate sect. They didn't send many people to collect information, and their cultivation wasn't high. The information they could obtain was limited. They only knew so much about the matter between the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family. Xiaolin Yu sent the information he obtained to Zhu Jin, telling them to prepare early. If there was really a large-scale battle at that time, the heavenly bandits would become soybeans in the two millstones and would be crushed into powder. It seems that the Blood Moon continent will not be peaceful. In this chaotic world, we need stronger strength to protect ourselves. Xiaolin Yu sighed and resolutely entered the secret chamber. First, she adjusted her breathing and meditated. When she was in a good state, Xiaolin Yu opened her eyes and stretched out her palm. The chaotic primordial flame appeared in her palm. He threw the top-grade materials he got from the warehouse manager into the primal true flame to be refined. 10 days later, there was a jade bathtub in the secret chamber. It was filled with a dark red liquid. The armored velociraptor's bloodline is not as good as the five-clawed golden dragon, but is much stronger than the five-clawed golden dragon in the cultivation world. Its blood should be quite useful in transforming my body. Xiaolin Yu pondered for a moment in front of the bathtub. Then, she took off her clothes and slowly stepped in the bathtub. That's right, Xiaolin Yu was going to undergo another body metamorphosis. The materials that she had taken from the storeroom and the materials that she had asked the storeroom manager to purchase were said to be used to heal her body, but in reality, they were preparing her body for the metamorphosis. What Xiaolin Yu did not expect was that the body metamorphosis this time went very smoothly and took very little time, but the results were barely satisfactory. After the body metamorphosis, Xiaolin Yu's body quality was still infinitely close to the level of a supreme-grade immortal artifact. However, the energy in her body was richer, and the injuries that she had suffered in the East Extreme Devil Cave had completely disappeared. It seems that the armored velociraptor's bloodline is still a little low. If I want to transform my body to be comparable to a supreme-grade immortal artifact, I still need to use the blood of high-grade demonic beasts as the main material. Xiaolin Yu was a little disappointed, but after a moment, she comforted herself. However, this method can allow me to recover quickly after my body is injured. Although the body metamorphosis this time was not very effective, there was no danger at all, and there was no unbearable pain. This was what made Xiaolin Yu feel at ease and satisfied. Later, Xiaolin Yu went to the warehouse again and left a lot of magic stones to the warehouse manager, and ordered him to help buy some of the so-called top-grade materials for healing the body. The last time he went to see Zhu Jin, in order to be safe, Zhu Jin transferred most of the magic stones collected by the heavenly bandits over the years to Xiaolin Yu. Now, although Xiaolin Yu could not be said to be rich, he definitely did not lack magic stones to buy some top-grade materials. Xiaolin Yu recuperated in the Devil sect for another 2 months, always paying attention to the movements of the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family. What he did not expect was that the Great Elder of the East Extreme Devil sect suddenly came out of the East Extreme Devil Cave and took the initiative to come to him. Brother Xiao, I found another wonderful place under the Devil Cave. If you can help me, I may have a bigger harvest this time. After the Great Elder met him, he said with full of expectations, with my little ability, I really don't dare to provoke a spirit demon stage magical beast. Xiaolin Yu shook his head and smiled. The Great Elder seemed to have expected that Xiaolin Yu would refuse. He handed a jade slip to Xiaolin Yu and said, if Brother Xiao can master the demonic soul palm, with your high-quality skill, your strength will certainly increase greatly. Then you'll be able to face a spirit demon stage magical beast directly. Obviously, this jade slip was engraved with the cultivation method of the demonic soul palm. Xiaolin Yu naturally wouldn't refuse. He first immersed his consciousness into the jade slip and glanced at it before he said, once I've mastered this palm technique, I'll follow you down. It only took me half a year to master this set of palm technique. Brother Zhao's perception is definitely higher than this old man's. So this old man came to look for Brother Xiao 10 months ago. After the Great Elder said this, he turned and left the valley of the Imperial Beast Hall. Xiaolin Yu did not dawdle. After entering the secret room, he began to meditate and comprehend this set of palm technique. Last time, The old man did not teach him this set of palm technique. He stayed in the devil cave for a few years before coming out to teach him. If there is no problem with this set of palm technique, then the old man must have a more powerful skill, or he must have found a way to break this set of palm technique. Of course, there's also the possibility that the old man was eager to seek Shaolin Yu's help, so he had no choice but to teach him this set of palm technique. In any case, Shaolin Yu has to carefully study this set of palm technique. In the beginning, he can only study it. He does not dare to practice it rashly. After carefully deducing it and trying to launch it several times, Shaolin Yu did not find any problem with this set of palm technique. After hesitating for a long time, he decided to practice it. To put it bluntly, the rending nascent soul demonic palm is a kind of penetrating palm technique. It is similar to hitting a cow through a mountain. It needs to penetrate a hard surface and work on it. Originally, this is a very simple matter for experts in the true demon realm. However, the rending nascent soul demonic palm requires thousands of palm shadows in a very short period of time. Moreover, these palm shadows need to be able to form a resonance in order to display their power. The higher the cultivation of the cultivator, the more palm shadows that can form a resonance. Then, the power of the rending nascent soul demonic palm will be stronger. Therefore, there is no limit to the cultivation of the rending nascent soul demonic palm in terms of power and realm. Penetrating a hard surface and forming countless palm shadows at once is not difficult for Shaolin Yu. However, it is a bit difficult to form countless palm shadows that can penetrate a hard surface at once. Making these palm shadows form a resonance is even more difficult. Fortunately, there was a cultivation method in the Jade Slip. As long as one could understand the essence of the cultivation method and supplement it with a large amount of practice, then even a person with ordinary comprehension would be able to reach the initial stage within 10 years. For cultivators with better comprehension, they would be able to reach the initial stage within 2 or 3 years. Only those with strong perception, like what the Supreme Elder said, can have a harvest in half a year. After 10 months of hard work, Shaolin Yu is just a beginner. He has just touched some tricks, but he has not been able to use the rending nascent soul demonic palm to his satisfaction. Shaolin Yu estimated that if he wants to use the rending nascent soul demonic palm that the Supreme Elder used last time, it will take at least 2 years. Now, the greatest power of the rending nascent soul demonic palm that he can use is comparable to the attack of a high-grade magic tool. Not to mention a spirit demon realm expert. Even if it is against a late-stage, true demon realm cultivator or a magical beast, it will not have much effect. In these 10 months, Zhu Jin has sent many messages, saying that the Blood Soul sect and the Meng family have fought several times, and both sides have suffered losses in the spirit demon realm. The heavenly bandits have actually scattered and retreated, but the Meng family's attack on the Blood Soul sect is getting more and more fierce, and the number of experts gathering near the Blood Soul sect is also getting more and more. It can be seen that the reason why the Meng family is making a big fuss is indeed not just to force the Blood Soul sect to give up protecting the heavenly bandits. The hunchbacked old man also often goes to the Foreign Affairs Hall to inquire about the news. From this, he learned that the undercurrent in Menjing City is also turbulent recently. Not only there are often experts in the vicinity, but there are also many unfamiliar foreign powerhouses in the city. The Meng family is attacking the Blood Soul sect, and the Blood Soul sect and the Chepo sect behind it will not let the Meng family's nest be too peaceful. What made Shaolin Yu feel a little relieved was that the heavenly bandits seemed to have withdrawn from the pursuit of the Meng family. Originally, they were the starting point of the war, but now it seems that the two sides who are really fighting have ignored them. However, just after 10 months, the great elder of the East Pole demon sect came to visit. Although Shaolin Yu was unable to cultivate the demonic soul severing palm to a level that he was satisfied with, he did not find any problems with the palm technique after all. Moreover, he was indeed able to use the demonic soul severing palm, so he did not have a good reason to refuse the old man's invitation. He could only brace himself and make a trip to the eastern extreme devil cave with him. But what surprised Shaolin Yu was that the great elder's son, the sect master of the East Pole Demon Sect, also brought 2 other true Demon Realm experts and followed the Great Elder into the East Pole Demon Cave. Among the other 2 true Demon Realm experts, one of them was Hong, who wanted to accept Hao Run and Wang Tai as disciples. Previously, these 3 true Demon Realm experts were injured, but now, looking at their complexions, they should have completely recovered. The Great Elder brought all of them, probably because the demonic beast to deal with was too powerful, or because he had other plans. Although Xiao Lingyu's expression was calm, he was secretly on guard. Chapter 275. The East Pole Devil Cave was still the same as before, full of strange and dangerous aura, making people not dare to be careless. Several top masters of the East Pole Devil Sect slowly came to a red light devil cave where there were no true demon stage magical beasts. They walked to the end, fell into the ground, and came to the end of a purple light devil cave. There was a stone table and a black iron box with a bit of a quaint feeling. Xiao Lingyu has been at the back of the team. His expression was calm, but his heart was very alert. After all, he participated in the plan of the old man, surnamed Li, and he was the main force at that time. Xiao Lingyu didn't believe that the Supreme Elder and his son would forgive him. The key of this treasure box is in the body of a magical beast in front of us. Although the bloodline of that magical beast is not noble, it has the cultivation of spirit demon middle stage. Everyone better be careful, especially the 3 of you. You must stay together. The Supreme Elder instructed Xiao Chun before heading into the depths of the Devil's Denver. Then he said, "Brother Xiao, this time I will be in charge of delaying that demonic beast. You can use those 6 divine pearls to attack. We will fight as we retreat. First, we will wear down its strength and patience. Then, we will use our strength to kill it. I am responsible for the main attack, but if it rushes towards me, I am afraid I can't defend." Xiao Lingyu frowned and said, Brother Xiao, you can rest assured, the reason why I brought the 3 of them this time is to let them be your shield. Although the magical beast cultivation is high, its attack power is not very strong. With the 3 of them helping you, you have to be careful, and with my support, it is basically foolproof. Supreme Elder said with a relaxed smile. Brother Xiao, rest assured, the 3 of us will do our best. The Devil Sect leader said with certainty. I'm not worried about myself. After all, that magical beast cultivation is at the spirit demon middle stage. Once it goes crazy, the 3 of you will be responsible for blocking it. I am afraid it will be dangerous. Xiao Lingyu said kindly. Junior Brother Xiao, when the time comes, you can go all out and attack. With the 3 of us together, it's hard to hurt a spirit demon stage beast, but we should be able to protect ourselves. Hu Hong also said confidently. The more they said this, the more Xiao Lingyu felt that there was a problem. He had seen the strength of these 3 people previously. It would be difficult for them to deal with a magical beast in the early stage of the spirit demon realm, let alone defend against the attack of a magical beast in the middle stage of the spirit demon realm. If they couldn't stop it, Xiao Lingyu, who was in charge of attacking, would attract the monster's aggro and be in danger. If the 3 of them wanted to defend themselves, they would only protect themselves. If they suddenly let go of their defenses and let Xiao Lingyu face the demonic beast directly, Xiao Lingyu might be killed instantly if she was not careful. Even if the demonic beast did not have a noble bloodline, it was still a mid-stage spirit demon. If you try to scheme against me, then don't blame me for playing dirty too. Xiao Lingyu didn't say anything. He just followed the Supreme Elder and walked forward while thinking in his heart. After about 2 hours, when they were less than 3,000 feet away from the nest, an angry roar could be heard, accompanied by a powerful aura. Obviously, the demonic beast had noticed their arrival, and this roar was a warning. Except for Xiao Lingyu and the Supreme Elder, who were not affected by the aura and continued to move forward, the other 3 immediately stopped and their breathing became a little chaotic. After 20 breaths, They have already arrived at the side of a wide cave. This cave is so high that they can't see the top and the bottom, and it's tens of thousands of feet wide. As long as it's not a demonic beast, it should be able to use its full strength here. In the center of the cave, there is a stone pillar. The stone pillar is thin at the top and thick at the bottom. A purple flame is burning at the top of the stone pillar, making the whole cave very hot. Looking down, they can't see anything except for the billowing waves of fire. On the opposite side, there is a spacious purple demonic cave, which should lead to the abyss. Just as everyone was scanning their surroundings, another roar reverberated through the cave, and a wave of fiery pressure descended from above. Everyone looked up and saw a bat-like demonic beast with a pair of wings and purple flames all over its body, swooping down from the sky. When it was 1,000 feet away from everyone, the demonic beast spat out a purple flame wave. Feeling the heat of the purple flame wave, except for the Supreme Elder, the other four people's expressions all changed, and they all retreated. The Supreme Elder didn't retreat, but before the purple flame wave came down, he flew into the cave and turned around to slap the demonic beast. The purple wave of fire didn't harm Xiao Lingyu and the others, and when the palm shadows were about to hit the magical beast's body, they were all scattered by the gust of wind produced by the magical beast's wings. The Supreme Elder took out the demonic sword again and slashed out a sharp sword light, but the demonic beast still flapped its wings and easily scattered the sword light. The Supreme Elder said it easily, but from this short exchange, Xiao Lingyu could already see that this demonic beast with the cultivation of a middle-stage spirit demon was not something that they could deal with. Even if everyone did their best and cooperated well, even if they won, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. However, Xiao Lingyu still followed the plan and took out the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs to bombard the demonic beast. As soon as the demon-suppressing immortal orbs appeared, it had already attracted the demonic beast's attention. Like most demonic beasts, it was very disgusted and sensitive to the holy aura. Facing the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs, the demonic beast opened its mouth and spat out a purple flame wave, which was actually able to stop the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs on the spot, unable to get closer. Under the envelopment of the purple flame, Xiao Lingyu couldn't control the demon-suppressing immortal orbs as he wished, and it was impossible for him to unleash any kind of powerful attack. Xiao Lingyu was also a person with a better sense of battle. After he made a judgment, he immediately took back the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs. Then, with a thought, the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs connected into a line and turned into a holy light sword. The holy light sword then pierced through the purple flame and fiercely stabbed, and the demonic beast used its metal-like wings to block it. Clang! A string of sparks flashed, and the holy light sword actually made a sharp sound of metal clashing with the demonic beast's wings. GG. Although the demonic beast's wings forcibly blocked the attack of the holy light sword, a long bloody mark appeared on its wings, and it couldn't help but let out a long cry of pain. Then, the demonic beast's pair of very demonic purple eyes stared at Xiao Lingyu. First, it fanned out a gust of wind to force the Supreme Elder back. Then, with a flap of its wings, it was already in front of Xiao Lingyu, and a mouthful of purple flame was spat towards the Devil's Den. Including the Devil Sect leader, the 3 true Devil Stage experts each had a black banner in their hands. Then they shouted at the same time, and the black banner suddenly expanded, blocking in front of the 4 people. The 3 black banners were all made of high-grade materials, but they were all burned to ashes by the purple flame in less than 2 breaths. However, the power of the purple flame was also exhausted, so it naturally couldn't threaten Xiao Lingyu's safety. Just as the purple flame completely dissipated, the 3 true Devil Stage experts each had a black banner in their hands. These 3 people really came prepared. After Xiao Lingyu glanced at it, he once again controlled the holy light sword to slash at the head of the demonic beast. The sacred aura of the best grade immortal weapon was overwhelming, and even the several devil path experts on his side felt their cultivation stagnate. The demonic beast knew the power of the holy light sword, and it seemed that it didn't have any good means to resist, so it could only fly back. But when it just retreated 10 feet, it felt a dangerous aura coming from behind. It didn't need to think to know that it was the attack of the spirit devil stage human cultivator. At this time, the supreme elder of the East Pole Devil Sect was holding a jade scepter-shaped magic weapon, and the magic weapon was spitting out a colorful light toward the tail of the demonic beast. The aura that made the demonic beast feel danger was the colorful light. The demonic beast immediately felt its whole body shining with demonic light. Its tail swept out and scattered the colorful light, and at the same time, it spat out a purple flame wave. However, because of the Supreme Elder's attack, the demonic beast couldn't completely avoid the attack of the Holy Light Sword. At the place where its neck and wings met, a deep wound was split open, and purple demonic blood spurted out like a fountain. GG, that magical beast let out another long cry of pain. Then, in its anger, it charged forward ferociously, pouncing toward Shaoling Yu. The 3 true demon stage experts once again cast a spell to make the black banners in their hands expand, turning into 3 impenetrable walls in front of them. After the demonic beast burned the 3 black banners with purple flames, its momentum also weakened a lot. At this time, the holy light sword slashed out again, and the jade scepter in the Supreme Elder's hand erupted with colorful light. Such a pincer attack could really pose a great threat to the demonic beast, but the premise was that the 3 true devil stage experts had enough black banners. The demonic beast swept its tail to scatter the colorful light, and another deep bloodstain appeared on its wings. The strong smell of blood accompanied by bursts of flames made it more and more violent, and its purple eyes were obviously filled with resentment. At the risk of being injured again, the demonic beast rushed over again, but it was blocked by the 3 black banners again, and then the holy light's sword hit it again. When it saw that the 3 detestable humans still had the black banner in their hands, it, who had not completely lost its mind, knew that if it continued to charge like this, it would definitely be covered in wounds. Therefore, after it spat out another mouthful of purple flames, it turned around and charged towards the Grand Elder. The Supreme Elder naturally didn't dare to take the attack of the demonic beast head-on, so he directly fled to the devil's den behind him. While fleeing, he also urged the jade scepter in his hand to release colorful light to block the demonic beast. Chapter 276. After running for a while, the demonic beast found that there was a spirit demon expert blocking its way. It couldn't increase its speed at all, let alone get rid of the enemy. The key is that it has been trying to attack the spirit demon expert, but the other side can easily block it. It seems that it made the wrong choice. After the demonic beast realized this, it gave up attacking the East Pole Demon Sect Supreme Elder, but suddenly turned around and rushed towards Shaoling Yu. The 3 true demon stage cultivators still blocked with the black banner. Shaoling Yu attacked with the divine light sword, and the East Pole Demon Sect Supreme Elder turned around and threatened the demonic beast back with the colorful light of the jade scepter. The demonic beast no longer cared about the colorful light attack. Its whole body shone with purple light, and it was able to resist the colorful light attack for a moment. And it was at this moment that the purple flames it spat out once again incinerated the banners of the 3 true demon stage cultivators. Although the power of its body had weakened a lot, after a roar, its 2 injured wings fiercely swept towards the 3 true demon stage cultivators. Its 2 sharp claws grabbed towards Shaoling Yu. The 3 true demon stage cultivators' faces changed greatly at this time. Although each of them took out a banner, it was only for self-defense, and, at the same time, they kept retreating. As Shaoling Yu expected, when it was really dangerous, the first thing these 3 true demon stage cultivators thought of was to protect themselves, not him. Shaoling Yu's divine light sword cut the neck of the demonic beast, and a piece of seemingly solid black flesh was cut open. However, he could no longer make the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs make any changes. He could only hold the silver moon broken blade in one hand and the silver needle divine tool in the other, and braced himself to meet the demonic beast's 2 sharp claws. The demonic beast may have been forced, and at this moment, it was difficult to see that Shaoling Yu was holding a divine tool in his hand. It directly grabbed it, and then a piercing pain spread throughout its body. The silver moon broken blade easily cut off 2 of the monster's claws, while the silver needle pierced through its claws. However, under the pain, the monster quickly retracted its claws and flapped one of its wings on Shaoling Yu's chest. Shaoling Yu could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood as her body crashed into the stone wall. That demonic beast was heavily injured again. In its fear, it did not dare to pounce on Shaoling Yu again. Instead, it rushed forward at an extremely fast speed. The Grand Elder had also caught up. Seeing that Shaoling Yu had regained her balance and was fine, he ordered in a deep voice, "Chase after her." Everyone caught up to the magical beast cave, only to see that the magical beast was actually bathing in the purple fireball at the top of the pillar in the center of the cave, and the injuries on its body were rapidly healing. "Brother Shao, quickly force it out," the Grand Elder shouted anxiously. The jade scepter in his hand immediately erupted with colorful light, gathering towards the purple fireball. Shaoling Yu hesitated for a moment, rationally keeping a distance from the Grand Elder and the other 3, and then used the divine light sword to slash at the stone pillar in the center of the cave. But what surprised everyone was that when they made their move, the purple fireball no longer wrapped around the demonic beast's body. Instead, it suddenly flew out. First, it easily scattered the colorful light, and then dragged a long flame tail, fiercely crashing into the divine light sword like a meteor. After a loud bang, the divine light sword's color dimmed, and then it turned into 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs and was scattered. But the purple fireball's power was only slightly reduced, and it firmly locked onto Shaoling Yu as it flew over. "Help him defend," the Grand Elder shouted, and then the jade scepter in his hand once again erupted with colorful light to bombard the purple fireball, but it only resisted for a moment before it was broken through by the purple fireball. The 3 true demon stage experts did not hesitate, and 3 black banners flew out from their hands, turning into 3 iron walls. It was just that this purple fireball was obviously much stronger than the fireball spat out by the demonic beast, and the 3 banners were instantly turned into ashes. Although the 3 true demon stage experts had already realized this, and black banners appeared in their hands again. But at this time, the purple fireball was already approaching, and they chose to protect themselves at this critical moment. While controlling their banners to block in front of them, they quickly retreated. The demon-suppressing immortal orbs were scattered, and Shaoling Yu had no better way to defend himself than to use a Chaos Devil Seal on the purple fireball. The power of the Chaos Devil Seal was not weak, and it stopped the purple fireball for a breath. In that breath, Shaoling Yu suddenly thought of something, and with a thought, a spiked bead flew out from the storage magic treasure. After the spiked bead appeared, there was no need for Shaoling Yu to control it. Like a cat seeing a mouse, it directly rushed towards the purple fireball that was less than 10 feet away from Shaoling Yu, and quickly sank into it. The purple fireball approached a few more feet, but then it stopped on the spot and trembled continuously. Seeing this, that demonic beast, Supreme Elder, and the other 3 all revealed surprised expressions. Shaoling Yu also suddenly remembered that he still had a spiked bead that seemed to have a miraculous effect on restraining all kinds of flames. Although he was not sure if this spiked bead from the Cultivation World's Lich's secret realm could restrain this purple fireball, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and try. "Brother Shao, that beast condition seems to have been greatly affected. Quickly use your divine pearl to seal it." The Supreme Elder suddenly transmitted his voice to Shao Chun. Xiaoling Yu also saw that after the purple fireball was blocked by the spiked bead, the demonic beast's aura fluctuated, and it was lying on the pillar, as if it could not move. Xiaoling Yu was not sure if the spiked bead could subdue the purple fireball, so he wanted to deal with the demonic beast from the root. Therefore, the 6 demons suppressing immortal orbs flew out quickly, and in a flash, surrounded the top of the pillar, and a sacred light curtain enveloped the demonic beast. Then, without needing anyone to remind him, Xiaoling Yu controlled the 6 demon suppressing immortal orbs to continuously release sacred light swords, and fiercely bombarded the demonic beast that was already sealed. However, that demonic beast had the cultivation of a mid-stage spirit demon, and its skin and flesh were incomparably tough. Its entire body was shining with a demonic light, and it could still withstand the attacks of the sacred light swords for a while. Its pair of demonic purple eyes stared intently at the purple fireball that was constantly trembling outside. After 20 breaths of time, the purple fireball trembled more and more violently, and the wounds on the demonic beast's body became more and more. Anyone can see that the demonic beast is already an arrow at the end of its flight, and now it can only wait for death. Even if Xiaoling Yu put away the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs, it can no longer fight against any spirit demon cultivator. The Supreme Elder squinted his eyes for a while, and suddenly the corner of his mouth revealed a faint sneer, and then the jade scepter in his hand was pointed at Xiaoling Yu, and suddenly a colorful light burst out. Xiaoling Yu never thought that when he was about to succeed, the Supreme Elder would sneak attack him, but he never really trusted these people. So even if he was attacked in a hurry, he quickly shot out a palm to meet the colorful light, and a chaotic light curtain appeared on his body. The colorful light easily tore through Xiaoling Yu's energy palm and fiercely hit the chaotic light curtain. The chaotic light curtain immediately collapsed, but the power of the colorful light has been exhausted, but the powerful momentum impact made Xiaoling Yu's body like an arrow and fiercely hit the wall of the cave. Without waiting for Xiaoling Yu to surround his body, the 3 true demon stage masters of the Eastern Demon Sect each took out a black banner and threw it at Xiaoling Yu. The 3 black banners surrounded Xiaoling Yu in an instant, and then turned into a ball of cloth, trapping Xiaoling Yu inside. Xiaoling Yu was about to break the cloth ball with the silver moon broken blade in his hand, but the cloth ball exploded first. The 3 black banners were all high-grade demon tools, and when they exploded together, the power was not much worse than a top-grade demon tool. Even if Xiaoling Yu's physical defense was close to that of a top-grade demon tool, at this time, his body was blown into a bloody mess. Fortunately, at this juncture, the Chaos Demon Nascent Soul was protected by a circle of chaotic light, and it only suffered some shock and did not suffer much damage. These old bastards are really harboring evil intentions. Xiaoling Yu cursed in his heart, but then he was greeted with the colorful light attack of the Supreme Elder. It was obvious that the other party wanted to use him to seriously injure the demonic beast, and then sneak attack him. It could also be said that the other party had never regarded him as one of their own. In the past, they were not clear about his true level, so they did not make a move and only left him in the Eastern Demon Sect. They probably already planned to kill him sooner or later. Just now, Xiaoling Yu had always thought that the black banners of the 3 people were defensive magic weapons, but in fact, they also had a very strong attack power. Xiaoling Yu was not able to avoid the colorful light, and his body was hit again, but the attack power of this colorful light was not very strong and could only aggravate Xiaoling Yu's injuries, but could not kill him. Just as the Supreme Elder and the other 3 people surrounded him, the purple fireball that had been trembling for a long time suddenly flew, and it was attacking randomly without any purpose. First, it rushed to the Supreme Elder, then rushed to the 3 true demon stage cultivators, and then it actually blasted towards the demonic beast on the stone pillar. Even Xiaoling Yu became the target of the purple fireball's attack. The thorny bead had always been an ownerless object, and Xiaoling Yu had tried countless times to refine it, but it ended in failure. Due to the strange movement of the purple fireball, the situation in the cave immediately became chaotic. The Supreme Elder and the others' formation was completely disrupted, and they could no longer form an encirclement around Shaolin Yu. Shaolin Yu took this opportunity to take back the sixth demon, suppressing immortal orbs, and then unfolded the wings of extreme speed, escaping into the depths of the demon cave. He is already seriously injured. The three of you go after him. When I deal with this demonic beast, I will come to find you. The Supreme Elder instructed, and while dodging the purple fireball, he aimed at the weak demonic beast. Chapter 277. At the end of the purple light magic cave, there was a stone table. On the stone table, there was a seemingly simple black iron box. Shaolin Yu escaped all the way here and did not look at the iron box that might contain precious treasures or powerful techniques. He directly jumped up, and with a few flaps, he reached the red light magic cave above. In less than 3 breaths of time after Shaolin Yu flew up, the 3 true demon stage experts of the East Pole demon sect chased after him. They did not hesitate and directly flew into the darkness above. But when the 3 of them reached the red light magic cave, they were a little embarrassed. There was a dark hole above the red light magic cave. The 3 true demon stage experts were not sure whether Shaolin Yu escaped along the red light magic cave to the abyss or continued to go up to the blue light magic cave above. The 2 of you go up and track. I will search this red light magic cave. After the demon sect leader said this, he quickly went along the red light magic cave to the abyss alone. With Hu and Hong working together, their strength was not weak, and before they came, they also had the magic treasure given by the Grand Elder, so they nodded and flew up. Shaolin Yu did continue to go up and reached a blue light magic cave, but there was darkness above him, and there was no light at all. It could be seen that even if there was a magic cave above, the stone slab had not been opened, so he could only escape along the blue light magic cave to the abyss. The demonic beast in the blue light devil's den should have been killed a long time ago, so Shaolin Yu's journey was very smooth. However, even though he had already taken pills to heal his body, his situation was getting worse and worse. He had to find a safe place to hide and cultivate in seclusion for a period of time. At the end of the blue light magic cave was the bottomless abyss. Shaolin Yu came to the abyss, hesitated for a moment, and quickly fell, and then entered a red light magic cave. The red light magic cave was a place guarded by true demon stage magic beasts. Even if Shaolin Yu was injured, he could easily defeat true demon stage magic beasts. Not to mention that he could use the demon-suppressing immortal orb. Even the poisonous flames on his body were not something that ordinary true demon stage magic beasts could resist. He quickly defeated the 2 true demon stage demonic beasts and placed the 2 glowing red pearls into the stone slab at the end of the Devil's Denver. Then he was teleported away. After the teleportation ended, Shaolin Yu arrived at a long corridor. At the end of the corridor, there was a stone table. On the table was an iron box and a jade slip. Shaolin Yu did not bother to figure out how to open the metal box. Instead, she turned and walked into the tunnel at the other end of the corridor. The tunnel was still winding and seemed to have no end. Shaolin Yu felt that such a place was more suitable for her to hide in and cultivate in seclusion, so she randomly chose a spot in the tunnel and began to meditate and recuperate. After recuperating for 2 months, Shaolin Yu had just stabilized her injuries when she took out the bathtub-shaped container that she often used. Fortunately, I brought a few extra sets of body transformation materials before I came in. While secretly rejoicing, Shaolin Yu began to refine the medicinal herbs and finally concocted a pot of medicinal soup. At this time, the 3 true demon stage experts of the East Pole demon sect gathered together and found the red light devil's den where Shaolin Yu had fought before. That kid must have appeared in this Devil's Denver. The traces of fighting here should have been left not long ago, the East Pole Demon sect master said in a cave. Let's go ahead and take a look, Hu Hong replied. I don't know how the Grand Elder is now. He said that he would come to find us soon. Could it be that he still hasn't dealt with that demonic beast? Another person said worriedly, Don't worry, Lord Father has made a lot of preparations. That demonic beast is already very weak. It should have been killed by Lord Father. However, Lord Father should be studying the method to open the lock, so there was a delay. The demon sect master explained confidently. There's no need to use a sledgehammer to kill a chicken. There's no need for the Grand Elder to make a move. The three of us can easily kill that kid, Hu Hong said while walking. Brother who seems to be a little too confident. Brother who should know how strong that kid is. Now that he's seriously injured, the three of us can take him down together. However, more than 2 months have passed. If he recovers from his injuries, it won't be easy for us to defeat him, the man said with a frown. You don't have to think too highly of him. His injuries are so serious. How can he recover in 2 months? You should know that the last time he came to the East Pole Demon Cave with the Grand Elder, he was also seriously injured. It took him several years to recover, Hu Hong said indifferently. Even if he recovers from his injuries, we'll just waste more demonic banners. He's dead for sure this time, the demon sect master said coldly. That kid only has himself to blame. He actually dared to rebel with that old man. He really doesn't know what's good for him. Hu Hong saw the sect master's expression change and quickly echoed. When they reached the end of the red light demon cave, the demon sect master stretched out a foot and stepped into the hole. However, he didn't see a stone slab appear. He said with certainty, as expected, that kid came to this demon cave before and was teleported away. Then how do we find him? Hu Hong asked. That's simple. Follow me. After the demon sect master finished speaking, he turned around and led the two out of the red light demon cave. Then, they found another red light demon cave on the cliff of the abyss and entered. With the three of them working together, they could easily defeat the true demon stage demonic beast in the red light demon cave. In the end, they were also teleported into a long corridor. This corridor was exactly the same as the one Shaolin Yu had been to before. There were stone tables and iron boxes, and at the other end was also a tunnel. He's in this tunnel. However, this tunnel is very long and winding. There's no end to it, but there's no danger inside. We just need to move at full speed, and we can find him in half a month. The demon sect master said as he took the lead and walked into the tunnel, gradually increasing his speed. If we're not teleported in the same demon cave, will the destination of the teleportation be the same? Hu Hong asked. Under normal circumstances, it's different. However, if the person who was teleported first didn't open the treasure box in the corridor, the person who was teleported later would also be sent here. With that kid's refining skills, I'm afraid it'll be very difficult for him to open the key. Even if he can refine the key and open the treasure box, with his injured body, he won't dare to leave through the dark tunnel. He can only hide in this tunnel first. There are many long corridors here, but they're all connected to this tunnel. It's just that they're connected to different places. The demon sect master explained in a deep voice. Shaolin Yu soaked in medicinal soup for 10 days, and his injuries were already completely healed. Fortunately, he had tried to transform his body last time and found a way to quickly heal his injuries. Otherwise, his injuries would have taken at least 5 or 6 years to stabilize. After recovering from his injuries, Shaolin Yu began to walk towards the long corridor that he had been teleported from. In order to leave this place, he still needed to refine the key and open the iron box. However, before he could reach the long corridor, he actually met the demon sect master and the other two at a corner. When the demon sect master and the other two saw Shaolin Yu, they were all stunned. Then, they quickly surrounded him. However, when they felt that Shaolin Yu's aura was very stable, their hearts jumped. Shaolin Yu vigilantly stepped back a few steps, and his mind swept around in a circle. He didn't see the Supreme Elder, so his expression relaxed. He didn't have the Spirit Demon Stage Old Monster here. Even if they have some kind of magic weapon, they won't be able to defeat him. Are your injuries healed? Hu Hong asked with narrowed eyes. With your attack level, do you expect my injuries to last for a long time? Shaolin Yu asked with a smile. I think you're strong in appearance, but weak in reality. The demon's sect master said calmly, "Aren't you here to kill me? Why are you still talking?" "Since you think I'm strong in appearance, but weak in reality, come and try me," Shaoling Yu said fearlessly. "Do you think we don't dare?" After the devil's sect leader responded, he gave his two fellow sect members a look. Then, the three of them quickly took out a black banner and attacked Shaoling Yu at the same time. But at this moment, not only had Shaoling Yu recovered from his injuries, he was also not ambushed. In a direct confrontation, how could he allow the three black banners to surround him again? With a thought, 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs flew out, 3 of them smashing towards the 3 black banners, and the other 3 smashing towards the 3 people. When the 3 saw Shaoling Yu so easily made a move, they could guess that Shaoling Yu's injuries had healed. They couldn't help but be nervous, and each of them took out a black banner. But under the bombardment of 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs, even if the 3 opponents had more black banners, they could only passively defend. It was impossible to complete the task of killing Shaoling Yu. Shaoling Yu wouldn't just use the demon-suppressing immortal orbs to attack. The wings of speed appeared behind him, and his body turned into a ray of light, passing through the tunnel. With just a flap, Shaoling Yu arrived beside Hu Hong. With a smile on his face, the silver moon broken blade in his hand slashed horizontally. Although Hu Hong said that he didn't care about Shaoling Yu, his heart was filled with fear. When he saw Shaoling Yu's evil smile, it was as if he had seen a demon. His hands trembled as he took out a devil talisman. But before Hu Hong's devil talisman could be released, the silver moon broken blade had already cut off his head, and when his head fell, it was kicked off by Shaoling Yu. Shaoling Yu just started a counterattack, and a true demon middle stage expert was killed on the spot. This made the devil sect leader and the other true demon cultivator realize the seriousness of the problem. The two of them didn't wait, and immediately took out a devil talisman and attacked Shaoling Yu. Shaoling Yu looked a bit familiar with the 2 devil talismans. From the aura and power it revealed, it could be seen that it was also made by a spirit demon stage expert. It had the lethality of a spirit demon early stage cultivator. The 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs were summoned by Shaoling Yu and slapped out. Boom! Boom! 2 explosions sounded, and the 2 devil talismans exploded before hitting Shaoling Yu's body. Chapter 278. Taking advantage of the fact that Shaoling Yu had not stabilized himself, the 2 true demon experts took out another devil banner. However, before they could use the devil banner, the 6 devil-suppressing immortal orbs had already arrived. They could only give up on attacking and use the devil banner to defend themselves. A devil banner could only block the attack of 1 devil-suppressing immortal orb, but at this time, the 6 devil-suppressing immortal orbs suddenly gathered together and formed a divine light sword, fiercely slashing towards one of them. With a swish, a devil banner was split in half, and the true demon expert hiding behind the devil banner was split into 2 from head to toe. The 2 sides had only fought for 3 breaths, and 2 true demon experts had already died on the spot. Other than shock, the devil sect leader was also terrified. The 3 of them were not a match for Shaoling Yu, let alone the devil sect leader alone. The divine light sword easily tore apart the devil sect leader's black banner, but under Shaoling Yu's intentional control, the divine light sword only cut off one of the opponent's arms and did not kill him. Then, the divine light sword suddenly separated and turned into 6 devil-suppressing immortal orbs, trapping the devil sect leader. This was the second time the devil sect leader was trapped by the devil-suppressing immortal orb. He knew that he was powerless to break the divine light screen around him, so he remained motionless. His eyes flashed as he stared at Shaoling Yu with a face full of fear. "I know that you have a grudge against me and have never treated me as one of your own. After all, I have indeed done something unfavorable to you in the past. However, I wholeheartedly took such a huge risk to help you deal with that magical beast, but you sneak attacked me at the critical moment. This is too unkind." Shaoling Yu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sneered. "There may be a misunderstanding. You should go and explain it to the Great Elder. He will definitely be able to eliminate the misunderstanding. The devil sect leader's expression changed again and again before he said, "Misunderstanding? Ha! Do you think I'm that 3-year-old child? Don't think that just because you old bastards have lived for a long time, you can treat others as idiots. Even now, you still hope that your spirit demon father can save you?" Xiaoling Yu laughed contemptuously. "Humph! If you want to kill me, then kill me. What's the point of spouting nonsense?" Seeing that he could not deceive the other party, and that he would only be humiliating himself by saying anything more, the demon sect master said unyieldingly, "There's no rush. You and that old man are both going to die. You're still useful to me if I keep you alive." As Xiaoling Yu spoke, he put away the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs and quickly took action, using chaos devil power to imprison the devil sect leader. Then, Xiaoling Yu brought the devil sect leader to the long corridor and began to research the method to refine the key to the metal box. The refining method of this key was similar to the one Xiaoling Yu had seen previously. With the foundation from the previous time, Xiaoling Yu only took half a year to open the lock this time. What emerged from the treasure box was a high-grade black jade piece. Taking a closer look, Xiaoling Yu discovered that it was a magic rune, and the energy contained in it was also very vigorous. It was estimated that it was at least refined by a spirit demon expert. After putting away the magic rune, Xiaoling Yu took the devil sect leader and fell into the dark passage below. With the same experience as last time, Xiaoling Yu's journey was smooth, but it still took him half a year to get out of the passage and into the abyss. Originally, Xiaoling Yu wanted to go directly to the exit and use the divine tool to split open the slate and leave the east extreme devil cave first. But as soon as he arrived at the abyss, he saw a huge body with a powerful aura flying wantonly in the abyss. At the same time, there was a fiery aura coming from the abyss. Those demon beasts were not only at the spirit demon stage, but some of them were even more powerful than the spirit demon stage. They were flying freely and constantly hissing. What's going on? With so many powerful demon beasts roaming outside, Xiaoling Yu naturally did not dare to go out, so he directly turned around and hid in the dark devil cave. Although Xiaoling Yu hid in the devil cave, he released his divine sense and has been spying on the situation outside the abyss. To his surprise, at this time, there was a colorful flame floating slowly in the abyss. Those demon beasts were attracted by it and circled around it. Those demon beasts seemed to be flocking to the colorful flame, but none of them dared to approach it. The originally gloomy and cold abyss should have become hot because of the colorful flame. If you look carefully, you will find that in the colorful flame, there's a thorny bead trembling slightly. Isn't that bead in the purple flame? How did the purple flame become colorful? Could it be that it went to find other flames? It should be like this, otherwise, how could these demon beasts that should be hiding at the bottom of the abyss be alarmed? Xiaoling Yu was surprised, but he did not dare to go out easily. However, after hiding in the devil cave for less than 5 days, the East Pole Demon Sect's Grand Supreme Elder also came out of the abyss. That old man should have been hiding in one of the devil caves below, but he did not know if it was because he discovered Xiaoling Yu's divine sense, or because of some other reason. But after he came in, he quickly found Xiaoling Yu and Xiaoling Yu. "Let him go, and I'll let you live," the Grand Supreme Elder said with narrowed eyes. "Hee, don't look so high and mighty. I can see that you're not in a good state. That flame probably didn't give you any good results, right?" Xiaoling Yu replied with a smile. The reason why he captured the demon sect's master but did not kill him was to prevent accidentally bumping into this old man in the East Pole Demon Cave. Hearing Xiaoling Yu's words, the Grand Supreme Elder's face darkened even more. He snorted coldly and said, "Even if I'm not in a good state, it's more than enough to deal with you. But your son is in my hands. If you make a move, he will immediately die in front of you." Xiaoling Yu said in a relaxed manner, "If you let him go now, I can swear that I will not harm you in the future." The Grand Supreme Elder said, That's a good suggestion. You can swear first. Xiaoling Yu touched his chin and said with satisfaction, "You have to swear that after I swear, I will let him go, and you can't harm us." The Grand Supreme Elder said cautiously, "You're a spirit demon expert. Are you afraid that I, a mere true demon early stage, will harm you?" Xiaoling Yu asked nonchalantly. "I'm just trying to be safe. I'm not afraid of you." The Grand Supreme Elder said indifferently, "But I don't agree. Why can't you kill me when you want to, and I can't retaliate? You can't kill me, so you want nothing to do with me?" Xiaoling Yu shook his head and said, "You." The Grand Supreme Elder said angrily, "You can either swear an oath, or come over and try it now." Xiaoling Yu said with a smile, looking as if he was going to win. "Okay, I swear. With your ability, you can't do anything to us. What are we afraid of?" In this case, the Grand Supreme Elder can only choose to compromise. Otherwise, even if he doesn't care about his son's life, he may not be able to kill the other party. After all, his current state is really not good. After the Grand Supreme Elder finished swearing, Xiaoling Yu released the shackles of the Devil sect leader and threw him to the Grand Supreme Elder like a sandbag. Just as the Grand Supreme Elder just stabilized his son, the entire East Devil Cave suddenly shook violently, and a terrifying aura surged from the bottom of the abyss. Even the three people hiding in the depths of the Devil Cave felt a chill in their hearts. The demonic cavern began to shake more and more violently, and the demonic beasts that were originally flying around the colorful flames all fled in all directions as if they had been given a huge fright. There were even a few of them that were pouncing toward them. Xiaoling Yu saw that the situation was not right, and without thinking, he directly used the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs to protect his body, and then quickly flew into the depths of the Devil Cave. The Grand Supreme Elder and his son were the same, because among the magical beasts that rushed in, not only were there spirit demons, there seemed to be an even more powerful existence. Even if Xiaoling Yu was in his peak state, his speed was not as fast as the Grand Supreme Elder, and in a few breaths, the Grand Supreme Elder and his son had already caught up. The few magical beasts that were frightened also ran wildly into the depths of the Devil Cave, especially the very powerful magical beast, which was constantly closing the distance between Xiaoling Yu and the other two. Xiaoling Yu knew that once they were caught, he was afraid that he would have to die here. So he made up his mind and used the 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs to attack the 2 of them. Every man for himself. Not to mention that the 2 of them wanted to kill him before. So Xiaoling Yu would not let them go easily just because they had sworn not to harm him. Facing the attack of the best grade immortal weapon, the Grand Supreme Elder and his son could only stop and resist. They seemed to have not expected that Xiaoling Yu would sneak attack at this juncture, and under the hasty defense, they were sent flying by the demon-suppressing immortal orbs. When he took back the demon-suppressing immortal orbs, Xiaoling Yu found that the 2 of them had been caught by the magical beast. The 2 of them were the most powerful existences in the East Pole Devil sect, but they were caught by the magical beast and stuffed into its mouth without any resistance. Xiaoling Yu could guess that even if the magical beast behind them was not a profound demon, it must be a spirit demon late stage. With such a magical beast, no matter how powerful Xiaoling Yu was, he was not a match for it. So he had no other choice but to run forward with all his might. Fortunately, the Devil Cave was shaking more and more violently, and there were constantly cracking rocks falling down, which could help Xiaoling Yu slow down the magical beast's speed. After all, the magical beast's body was huge, and it was already very difficult for it to run wildly in the Devil Cave. If there were more rocks blocking it, it would be very difficult for it to increase its speed. However, not long after, magical beasts pounced from the opposite side. They probably did not know what was going on and wanted to quickly escape outside, afraid that they would be buried alive in the Devil Cave. Xiaoling Yu's strength was not weak, and he also had 6 demon-suppressing immortal orbs. The magical beasts coming from the opposite side were incomparably frightened, so naturally, no one would take the initiative to provoke him, but they would be squeezed to death, trampled to death, or devoured by the powerful magical beast behind Xiaoling Yu. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.